LoveLore Library. Chapter 868. Zheng Xiaoping and Yu Dai entered the VIP room first. Yang Ming and Zhang Guozong followed behind. Then Secretary Liu closed the door at the end. Yu Dai glanced at the people in the room. He knew Zhang Guozong and Zhang Guozong's secretary, Xiao Liu. He had not seen the rest of the people, but he thought that they were people related to Huawei Casino. Yu Dai, what is your purpose? Just say it. Zheng Xiaoping's address to him changed from Brother Yu to Yu Dai. Since President Zhang is here, then I will say it directly. Yu Dai sat at the end of the VIP room table and said straightforwardly, let's gamble to determine the winner. The loser has to close the casino for a month. Close the casino for a month. Zheng Xiaoping was stunned, and Zhang Guozong was even more stunned. As a matter of fact, the casino was open 24 hours a day. If there were no special events, it would not close for 365 days a year. If the casino was closed for a month, how serious would that be? Never mind closing for a month, even if it was closed for a day, it would be a heavy loss. If it was closed for a month, many of the old customers would be lost. The biggest beneficiary would naturally be Nanching Casino. Of course, the risk was relative. If Yu Dai lost, then Nanching Casino would be closed for a month. The biggest beneficiary would be his own Huawei Casino. How about it? Do you dare to compete? Yu Dai said calmly, of course, if you refuse, you can automatically admit defeat. Then, it will be closed for half a month. But I can't guarantee that I will challenge you in the future. Zhang Guozong's face became pale. Admit defeat. Don't even think about it. If I admit defeat, I won't be able to mingle in Macau's gambling world in the future. But if I compete with him, what should I do if I really lose? Yu Dai obviously came prepared. Moreover, it was said that Yu Dai's gambling skills were better than Zheng Xiaoping. But now, it was already impossible to back down. Of course, there was another trick, which was to play rogue. Nanching Casino was not the Macau government. If he did not close the casino, Yu Dai could not force him to close the casino. But in this way, he would also lose his foothold in the entire Macau gambling industry. Because he broke the industry rules. There was an unwritten rule in the gambling world. When a consultant from another venue came to challenge you, you had to accept the challenge. If you took the initiative to admit defeat, then the bet would be reduced by half. However, he had never acted shamelessly. If he went to other casinos to challenge them, he would receive the same treatment. Zhang Guozong really couldn't make this decision, so he turned his gaze to Huang Lele. But Huang Lele didn't know much about these things. When she saw Zhang Guozong looking at her, she said, Uncle Zhang, you can make the decision. Zhang Guozong listened to Huang Lele's words and secretly complained. How can I make the decision? Was this kind of thing so easy to decide? Normally, Zhang Guozong would be very happy to hear such words. Who didn't want the leaders to delegate power to their subordinates? But now, just agree with him. Yang Ming, on the other hand, had done some research on the gambling industry. This was also a necessary course for an assassin. He had to dabble in all walks of life. Seeing Zhang Guozong's embarrassed appearance, he could also think of the key to the matter, so he simply spoke up to help him out. Zhang Guozong breathed a sigh of relief. Well, since Yang Ming has spoken, then everything is easy to handle. Zhang Guozong looked at Zheng Xiaoping and said, okay, Consultant Zheng, you can compete with him. Zheng Xiaoping nodded and sat solemnly at the gambling table. His gambling skills were indeed worse than Yu Dai's. He was a midway novice, so he was definitely worse than Yu Dai, who had been immersed in gambling since he was a teenager. But now, he had to accept the challenge. This represented the honor of the casino. It was no longer a matter of personal gains and losses. Zheng Xiaoping could only do his best. In fact, when he just entered the door, Zheng Xiaoping noticed that Yang Ming was also on the spot. He had some doubts in his heart. He still knew Yang Ming. He had seen Yang Ming's photo in the boss's place before. He was also the person the boss wanted to kill. The association knew that the mysterious man could find him at the top of the casino. It was not surprising that Yang Ming came in with President Zhang. Probably these people knew President Zhang, and now Zheng Xiaoping had decided to betray the boss. He had eaten the voodoo, so whether Yang Ming appeared here or not had little to do with him. What are we competing on? Zheng Xiaoping asked seriously after sitting down. Since I am the one who came to challenge, and I proposed the bet, then you should naturally decide what to compete on. Yu Dai said, otherwise, it will be unfair. Zheng Xiaoping nodded. He had some confidence in winning in his heart. After all, if he had to choose, he could choose what he was best at. Now was not the time to be modest. Zheng Xiaoping did not back down. He thought about it and said, in this case, let's play 5-card stud. 5-card stud was a gambling event with both luck and skill. Another point was that at the critical moment, Zheng Xiaoping wondered if he could use the advantage of technique to change cards. Okay, but first, we have to say that this is a fair competition. That is to say, cheating is not allowed. Yu Dai seemed to have known Zheng Xiaoping's idea for a long time. He blocked Zheng Xiaoping's way of changing cards in one sentence. Of course, I won't cheat. Zheng Xiaoping's face was a little sullen. And, of course, I believe in your character. But for the sake of safety, we still have to take some measures. As Yu Dai said this, he took out a camera from the small leather case he brought and placed it on the gambling table. Then, he said, this is the latest high-definition 1080p camera. It can record every detail very accurately. No matter who cheats, no matter how fast the cheating is, it will be recorded. Good. I agree. Zheng Xiaoping said bitterly. In this way, his advantages were all gone. However, since it was already like this, what else could he say? Well, since there is no problem, let's start. Yu Dai nodded and said. The dealer began to deal the cards, and the competition officially began. Damn, bro, it can't be. Why are there so many rules? Zhang Bin stared in surprise and watched Yu Dai's performance. I thought that those god of gamblers won by secretly changing cards. That's in TV series and movies, right? Yang Ming shook his head and smiled. Now the high-tech is so advanced. How can those little tricks be hidden from the camera? That's right. Isn't it entirely dependent on personal luck and ability? Zhang Bin sighed. What do you think? Yang Ming asked, so gambling is not what you think. There is no god of gamblers. Everything depends on luck and true ability. Zhang Bin grinned and continued to watch the game. In the beginning, both of them won and lost. Basically, the chips were almost the same. When it came to the level of the two people, naturally, they were very careful and did not dare to have the slightest neglect. However, gradually, the gap slowly widened. In any case, Zheng Xiaoping was slightly inferior in terms of skill. Yu Dai's chips were already 1 million more than Zheng Xiaoping. Don't underestimate this 1 million. In the battle between two masters, it was already good to widen the gap of 1 million. Both of them were old foxes. When your cards were good, I wouldn't follow. When my cards were good, you wouldn't follow. Only when both of them felt that their cards were about the same, then they would fight. So if they wanted to widen the gap, it was difficult to mention. However, after all, Zheng Xiaoping had only begun to study gambling in recent years. He was worse than Yu Dai. No matter how cautious Xing Xiaoping was, the gap between the two people slowly widened. 1,000,000, 1,000,000, 2,000,000, 5,000,000, 2,000,000, 2,000,000. Yu Dai already had 5,000,000 more than Xing Xiaoping. Seeing that his chips were gradually decreasing, and the other party's chips were getting more and more, Xing Xiaoping's face began to sweat. If this continued, he would lose without a doubt. Even if he didn't follow in every round, his base bet could drag him to death. Losing was only a matter of time. Xing Xiaoping is going to lose. Looking at Xing Xiaoping's performance, Yang Ming sighed and said to Zhang Guozong, who was sitting next to him. Yeah, the hope of winning is not big. Zhang Guozong could naturally see the key to the situation. Yang Ming could help. He had X-ray vision. Even 100 Yu Dai were not his opponent. The key was how to help. It was definitely impossible for him to give advice on the side. That would break the rules. Now, it was even more impossible to change the person. Who gambled halfway and changed the person when they saw that they couldn't win? If this was spread out, wouldn't people laugh their heads off? Yang Ming frowned. He wanted to help Huang Leilei's family get through this difficult time, but he didn't know how to start. To be honest, when Huang Leilei was with him, she never cared about her family background and ability. Although Huang Leilei didn't care about these and didn't mention it, Yang Ming couldn't do nothing. Sometimes, there was always a difference between ideals and reality. Leilei didn't care about these, but what about Leilei's family? Would they allow Huang Leilei to follow a man who was useless? Therefore, in order not to let Huang Leilei have trouble in the future, he simply had to do something for Leilei's family to show his ability. Since I can't play now, it is better to take drastic measures. Didn't Yu Dai come to challenge Huawei Casino? Then I will go back and challenge their Nanqing Casino. At that time, let's see if they still have the mind to deal with Huawei Casino. The worst result was a draw. Even if there were any masters in the Nanqing Casino, Yang Ming was not afraid. The east wind blows, the war drums beat. I have special abilities. Who am I afraid of? Do you want to see what is the god of gamblers? Yang Ming suddenly turned his head and whispered to Zhang Bin. Chapter 869. God of Gamblers. Zhang Bin was stunned, then he pointed to Yu Dai and said, You mean him? Him. He is still far from being the god of gamblers. Yang Ming smiled and said, Let's go. Follow me. Ah. Now. Zhang Bin looked at the gambling game in front of him with some reluctance. Although he wanted to continue to watch, since the boss called him, he stood up quickly and said, Let's go. When Zhang Bin left, Wang Mei would naturally follow him. Huang Leilei was also pulled by Yang Ming and walked out of the VIP room. Yang Ming, where are you going? Zhang Guozong was anxiously watching the gambling game, but he saw that Yang Ming and the others were leaving, so he asked with some confusion. Picking a game. Yang Ming said faintly. What? Picking a game. Zhang Guozong was stunned. He wanted to continue to ask what was going on, but Yang Ming and the others had already left the VIP room. Zhang Guozong shook his head. What Yang Ming and Huang Leilei wanted to do was not something he could control. Now, I should pay more attention to the gambling game. Although the current situation is more of a loss than a win, I have to hold on until the last moment. Zhang Bin was very puzzled as he followed Yang Ming out of the Huawei Casino. He couldn't help but ask, Boss, where are we going to see the god of gamblers? God of gamblers. Naturally, it is your boss. Yang Ming smiled and said, We are going to the Nanqing Casino to pick a game. What? Boss? You are the god of gamblers? Zhang Bin opened his mouth in surprise and looked at Yang Ming. How is it possible? Boss, are you serious? Nonsense, when did I lie to you? Yang Ming smiled and said, your boss is powerful in many ways. I just don't make a move easily. Yeah, Yang Ming plays Bubble Bobble. It's amazing. Huang Lele interrupted. Bubble Bobble. Zhang Bin was almost petrified when he heard this. How could games and gambling be the same thing? Wang Mei, on the other hand, had already begun to cover her mouth and snicker. At this moment, Yang Ming's head was full of black lines, but seeing Huang Lele's serious appearance, Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh out loud. It seemed that Huang Lele's original intention was to praise him. It was just that Huang Lele was too simple. Her way of speaking was also quite unique, so the way she praised others was also different. Thinking of this, Yang Ming didn't care. Wasn't it a kind of happiness to find such a good wife? By the way, does anyone know where the Nanqing Casino is? After leaving the Huawei Casino, Yang Ming thought of a key problem. He didn't know where the Nanqing Casino was. I know. Wang Mei said quickly, I used to go there with Lu Jihao. After that, she looked at Zhang Bin's face. Seeing that Zhang Bin's expression was normal, she was relieved. Zhang Bin was not a stingy person. He also knew about Wang Mei's past, so he didn't care much. Then let's go. You lead the way. It's just that, sir, your chip limit is too big. For your safety and a better gambling experience, we suggest you go upstairs. The waiter quickly explained. No need. I will play here. Yang Ming waved his hand and said. Then, well, I wish you a good time. Seeing that Yang Ming's tone was not good, the waiter naturally didn't say anything more. Bro. Are you kidding me? You bought 100 million chips. Zhang Bin's eyes were popping out at the moment. Is it a lot? Hee hee, but there will be more in a while. Yang Ming said with a smile. Wang Mei was even more secretly shocked. Who is this Yang Ming? How is he so rich? Wang Mei already felt that it was a lot when he threw out tens of millions before. She even secretly speculated that Yang Ming's net worth was already more than 100 million. But now it seemed that she had underestimated it. Yang Ming was more than 100 million. He just casually took out 100 million to exchange for gambling chips. This was simply unimaginable. It turned out that when she followed Lu Jihao, Wang Mei felt that she had stepped into the life of the upper class. She already had a lot of spiritual and material enjoyment. Now, she knew that this was simply a small fry in front of a big one. Yang Ming's group was the real rich people. Now it seemed that this Yang Ming's net worth should be no less than Huang Lele's family. Bro, didn't you say that gambling is not good? Why do you still exchange so many chips? What if you lose? Fortunately, Zhang Bin didn't lose his mind. He knew that he was distressed about money. There is a kind of person who won't lose. Yang Ming said seriously. Who? Zhang Bin asked subconsciously. It's your boss, me. Yang Ming pointed to himself and said pretentiously. Ah. Zhang Bin was stunned. Because your boss, I am the god of gamblers. Yang Ming nodded and said with an unfathomable look. Yang Ming didn't care about Zhang Bin's reaction. He took Huang Lele's hand and walked into the casino. Huang Lele wasn't surprised by Yang Ming's move. Her family was originally very rich. Hundreds of millions of yuan wasn't a rare thing. What's more, Huang Lele didn't care whether Yang Ming had money or not. She was happy. Anyway, Huang Lele felt that Yang Ming, this boyfriend, was still very good. He gave her a feeling that she hadn't had since she was a child. Yang Ming casually glanced at all the entertainment projects in the casino. Because he was in a hurry, he had to find a project with high odds and a quick turn-based project. In the end, Yang Ming's eyes stayed on the project of Kaida and Kaida. Yang Ming went straight to Kaida and casually found a place to sit down. Place your bets. After the dealer shook the dice, he said to the people who were betting around him. Yang Ming glanced at the dice points in the bowl. 1, 1, 3, 5 points small. Yang Ming directly threw 100 million yuan of chips on the table and bet small. Ah! The crowd suddenly exclaimed. 100 million yuan of chips, isn't it like a joke? In the hall downstairs, the most seen chips were 1,000 yuan. Even chips of 100,000 yuan were rare. The chips that Yang Ming threw out were actually 10 of 1,000 yuan. The dealer also widened his eyes and looked at Yang Ming incredulously. Sir, this is the hall. You should go to the VIP room. Why? You don't want to accept bets because you have more money. Yang Ming sneered. Or you can't afford to lose. The most taboo in the casino was for guests to say that they couldn't afford to lose, so when Yang Ming's words came out, the dealer's face suddenly turned red. He quickly explained, of course not. It's just that your chips are too big. Why? You can't make the decision. Then find someone who can make the decision. Yang Ming snorted coldly. In fact, there was no need for the dealer to find someone. The foreman manager in the hall had already noticed this and was walking over quickly. He glanced at the chips on the table and understood what was going on. The rule of Nanqing Casino was 1, 1. 5, that was to say, if you bet 1,000 yuan, and you win, you will be given 1,500 yuan with interest. So no matter what, it was basically the casino making money. After all, there were both big and small bets every time. Basically, it was almost the same. It was a tie. However, it was rare to see a situation like Yang Ming's. Not to mention it was a chip of 100 million yuan. In reality, such people did not exist. Therefore, as long as Yang Ming continued to bet, there would always be a round where he would be completely wiped out and lose all of a sudden. Therefore, the foreman manager did not panic. He did not believe that Yang Ming would not lose. However, in fact, Yang Ming did not lose. Whether it was big or small, the final result was that Yang Ming won. Seeing that the chips on Yang Ming's table were going to exceed 1 billion, the foreman manager couldn't stand it anymore. He walked to the dealer and whispered a few words to him. Then, the dealer nodded and left in a hurry. Okay, it's time for the dealer to get off work. I will take over here first. The dealer who changes shifts hasn't come yet. The foreman manager said to everyone. In fact, he was talking to Yang Ming. Because since Yang Ming started to bet, no one followed to bet. Instead, they gathered here to watch the fun. Yang Ming smiled disdainfully. He naturally understood what was going on. What's more, Yang Ming could read lips. Even if the foreman manager spoke in a low voice, Yang Ming could hear it clearly. The foreman manager had realized that Yang Ming's luck was too good, so he wanted to play in person. Probably, this foreman manager had a superior technique in shaking dice. Yang Ming had heard about the skill of shaking dice. As long as he practiced diligently, he could basically master it. In the end, he could get whatever number he wanted to shake. But once the bowl was buckled, it couldn't be changed. All the skills were done in the air. Whatever. Then, you do it. Yang Ming glanced at the foreman manager and said indifferently. The foreman manager's ability to control the dice had reached a very high level. Although he was not as free as Yu Dai, he rarely made mistakes if he concentrated. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to sit in the position of the foreman manager. This time, the foreman manager tried his best and threw a 3, 3, 4. 10 points, the biggest number in small. He now doubted whether Yang Ming could hear the number of the dice, but he didn't believe it because he had never seen anyone who could hear the numbers of the dice. Yang Ming glanced at the foreman manager, who was shaking with sweat, and looked at the number in the bowl. He casually pushed more than 1 billion chips directly to the small position. The head manager was shocked. It can't be, right? Is there such a coincidence? He frowned, braced himself to open the bowl and announced the news of Yang Ming's victory. In the casino, the crowd of onlookers cheered again. This person was simply an ever-victorious general. For so many rounds, he didn't lose once. Zhang Bin couldn't speak now. Yes, he finally understood Yang Ming's previous sentence. Let me show you what the god of gamblers is. Yu Dai wasn't in the casino. Only the foreman manager's skill in shaking dice was the highest. At this moment, he couldn't drive away Yang Ming. If this person was in the gambling world, there was no reason for him not to know. Could it be that another casino found a master from somewhere and deliberately came to mess with my casino? Or is he a master who is running a solo gang and came here to make a fortune? Of course, if it was the second case, it would be easy to handle. He would directly call him into the office, threaten him, and give him a lot of money. Basically, it could be settled. If it was the first case, it would not be easy to handle. I don't know. There is no such person in Mikhao's gambling world, and he is not another casino's consultant. Wang Dianchue's secretary's ability to remember people was first class. After looking at Yang Ming, he shook his head. Wang Dianchue nodded silently to show that he knew, but he was thinking about how to deal with this matter. He just glanced at the table casually, and he was shocked. The chips on Yang Ming's table were actually tens of billions. If he lost it all at once, his profits for several years would be gone, and his efforts would be in vain. However, since Yang Ming put all the chips every time, then there was still room to maneuver. After hesitating, Wang Dianchue's face flashed a ruthless smile. He told the secretary next to him, "Go and tell Foreman Qian. Get him a leopard." Chapter 871. In the rules of the casino, the so-called big or small bet was based on the number of 3 dice. First, shake the dice and then place the bet. 4 to 10 points were small, and 11 to 17 points were big. If the bet was right, the dealer would pay. If the bet was wrong, the gambling money belonged to the dealer. However, there was an extremely special and rare situation, and that was if the dealer rolled all the dice, that is, if all 3 dice had the same number of points, which was commonly known as a leopard, then the dealer would win all. Therefore, as long as the dealer rolled 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, all the way up to 6, 6, 6, it would be considered a leopard point. At this time, no matter whether the player bet big or small, it would be considered a loss. Wang Dianchue, at this moment, let Foreman Qian shake out a complete dice to eat all the chips on Yang Ming's table. Otherwise, let him lose more than 10 billion. That was simply a joke. It was better to take his life. The secretary quickly walked to Foreman Qian and bowed her head to whisper a few words to him. Foreman Qian was suddenly shocked. This kind of deliberate shaking of the complete dice was really damaging to the casino's credibility, so he had been shaking the big or small irregularly, but it seemed that Yang Ming could bet correctly every time. However, since it was instructed by President Wang, then Foreman Qian didn't care so much. He collected his thoughts and decided to shake out a complete dice. After the secretary finished speaking, she was about to turn and leave, but her eyes stopped on Huang Lele in Yang Ming's arms. Her eyes suddenly shrank, and she looked at Yang Ming again. She nodded thoughtfully and quickly returned to Wang Dianchue's side. How is it? Did you tell Foreman Qian? Wang Jianxue couldn't wait to ask. I told him, but I found a very important thing. The secretary whispered, I know which force this person represents. What? You know. Wang Jianxue was shocked and asked, who are they? If I didn't guess wrong, they are the people of Huawei Casino. The secretary said with certainty. Why do you say that? Wang Jianxue asked with some doubts. It can't be, right? Yu Dai is challenging the Huawei Casino. How can they have the time to come here to make trouble? You can't even take care of yourself now, right? Besides, with such a master, how could Huawei Casino be like this now? You've already won first place in the annual consultant exchange competition between casinos. I don't know about this, but President Wang, do you know who the chick in the man's arms is? The secretary pointed to Huang Lele in Yang Ming's arms and said to Wang Jianxue. That chick. How do I know who she is? Wang Jianxue frowned. Get to the point. Don't say these useless things. President Wang, I also saw the chick and made the judgment. The secretary explained, the chick is called Huang Lele. She is the daughter of the chairman of Huawei Casino. What? Wang Jianxue was stunned. His eyes widened as he looked at Huang Lele and said in surprise, are you from the Huang family? Who is that man? Yes, she is from the Huang family, but I don't know who the man is, but it seems that he should be the chick's man. The secretary said. While the two were talking, Foreman Qian had already shaken out a leopard and 3 ones. He closed the lid and said to Yang Ming in a very plain tone, okay, place your bets. Yang Ming was not in a hurry to bet, but looked at Foreman Qian with a smile. He said faintly, it seems that I am the only one left to bet. Foreman Qian didn't know what Yang Ming meant, but he still nodded. Now only you, sir, are betting. Oh, that is to say, if I don't bet, then no one will bet. Yang Ming shrugged and didn't wait for Foreman Qian to continue to say anything. He continued, then I will play with you. Foreman Qian thought that Yang Ming didn't want to continue to play, then he would have wasted his effort. When he heard Yang Ming say to continue to play, he was relieved. This time, Yang Ming didn't bet all of it. Instead, he simply took out 2 chips with the smallest face value from a pile of chips and threw them on both sides of the big and small table respectively. 20,000. Foreman Qian was stunned and looked at Yang Ming incredulously. Sir, why did you bet 20,000 yuan of chips? Can't I? Yang Ming asked, how much I want to bet is my business. Can your casino force me? That's not it. I just feel strange. Foreman Qian said with some embarrassment. Strange? What's so strange about this? Yang Ming said indifferently, you should be happy. This time, whether it is a big or a small one, you will earn. At most, you can compensate me 15,000 yuan. You still earn 5,000 yuan. Of course, if you get a leopard, then the 20,000 yuan is all yours. The smile on Foreman Qian's face suddenly froze. How is it possible? Did he know in advance that I was going to get a leopard in this round? Could it be that he heard what the secretary said to me? That's not right. After the secretary finished talking to me, I casually opened a few rounds of big and small before I got a leopard. Yang Ming had no reason to know which round I was going to get a leopard. Now it seemed that there was only one possibility. That was, Yang Ming was a master, a real master. Perhaps, he could listen to the dice. Foreman Qian was surprised. Zhang Bin and Wang Mei were equally surprised. Even Huang Lele, who didn't like gambling, was also surprised. Yang Ming was like a prophet. If this round was still the same as before, then he would lose everything. Wang Jianxue over there was even more surprised. He didn't expect Yang Ming to not be fooled at all. Now, it could be confirmed that Yang Ming was a real master. It was impossible for him to defeat him with these tricks. How can there be such a thing as being magnanimous? Sir, let's not beat around the bush. Miss, you are the daughter of Huawei Casino. Wang Jianxue looked at Huang Lele and said. Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect Huang Lele to be recognized. He wanted to continue to play. Now that her identity was exposed, there was no need to play. The other party had admitted defeat, so it was time to talk about the conditions. Since you know, it's nothing. Yang Ming said faintly, your consultant came to our casino to play. Of course, I can play here. Sir, it was our fault before. I have asked you Dai to admit defeat. Please let us go. Wang Jianxue had to bow his head under the eaves. I let you go. Yang Ming said with some amusement, well, in this case, I will go. Thank you. Wang Jianxue was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to be so straightforward. There is nothing to thank. The money I won, just put it in my card. Yang Ming pointed to the chips on the table. Ah. Wang Jianxue almost fell to the ground. What was the difference between this and not letting it go? If the money was lost, then the Nanqing casino could only go bankrupt. Chapter 872. Why? Do you still want to renege on your debt? Yang Ming pointed to the chips on the table and snorted. Could it be that you can't afford it? This. Sir, look. Shouldn't we be lenient when possible? Wang Jianxue endured his resentment and said carefully. What do you mean by being lenient when possible? I have already let you go now. Yang Ming said disdainfully, if I continue to gamble, your casino will go bankrupt in an hour at most. But, if we compensate you with the money, what is the difference between this and bankruptcy? Wang Jianxue smiled bitterly. Really? So you don't want to pay? Then I will call the Gambling Supervision Bureau to complain now. Yang Ming's voice was very calm, but it made Wang Jianxue shocked. The Gambling Supervision Bureau was the management, supervision, and monitoring organization of the gambling industry. When Yang Ming was gambling, there was no cheating or violation, so once the Bureau intervened, the result of the arbitration would be Yang Ming's victory. Ordinary tourists rarely knew how to complain, but in Wang Jianxue's opinion, Huang Lele's family ran a casino. How could her boyfriend not know this? However, Yang Ming really didn't know this from Huang Lele, but from the CD that Fang Tian gave him before. Sir, since everyone has pointed out their identities, let's talk about something practical. Your purpose isn't the bonus, right? Wang Jianxue said carefully. Oh, well, I'm a soft-hearted person. Yang Ming looked at Wang Jianxue and said faintly, let's do it this way. There are two conditions. If you think it is okay, you can accept it. If not, I can't do anything. Seeing that there was still room to maneuver, Wang Jianxue quickly asked, what are the conditions? The bonus, I can choose not to take it all, but I definitely can't not take it. Yang Ming pointed to the chips on the table and said, I basically don't make a move easily, but once I make a move, I can't go back empty-handed. I understand. Wang Jianxue nodded. Sir, you say it. How much do you want? Half. That's the most I can accept. Yang Ming roughly estimated the number of chips on the table and said, right now, it's about 80 billion. I want half of it, 40 billion. Wang Jianxue took a deep breath. 40 billion, this was enough to take his life. However, at most, he would have to give away his years of savings. It would not affect the normal operation of the casino. Where there was life, there was hope. Once Yang Ming went back on his word and complained to the gambling bureau, it would no longer be a matter of 40 billion. Okay. Wang Jianxue nodded and agreed. What is the other condition? Move 5 kilometers away from Huawei Casino. Yang Ming said lightly. What? Move the casino. Wang Jianxue was stunned. He didn't expect that Yang Ming's second condition would be like this. Well, these are my 2 conditions. If you agree, then so be it. If you don't agree, it doesn't matter. Yang Ming put Huang Lele down from his body, stood up and said. Okay, I promise you. Wang Jianxue clenched his teeth and said. Compared to the reduced 40 billion, how much would it cost to move a casino? Although he might have to choose a new place and reaccumulate popularity, it was worth it in comparison. Since you're straightforward, then we don't have to sign any agreement. However, if you don't keep your promise, it doesn't matter. I will come to your casino to play every few days. Yang Ming shrugged and said with a threat. Wang Jianxue was silent. If the other party comes, I can only accept it. There isn't even a person who can deal with the situation. If I also go to other people's casinos to pick a fight, not to mention that Jing Xiaoping himself can deal with it. If this person in front of me appears, then it will be a losing situation. Deposit the money for this gentleman. Wang Jianxue instructed the secretary. Okay, sir, please show your ID card. I will help you with the bank card, said the secretary. Lele, use your ID card. Yang Ming turned to Huang Lele and said. Oh, okay. Huang Lele took out her ID card and handed it to Yang Ming, but she was not happy because the money was deposited in her name. Now it could be said that as long as Yang Ming was willing, he could get money from many ways, but now the money in his bank account was completely enough. There was no need to find ways to accumulate money. Yang Ming directly handed Huang Lele's ID card to Wang Jianxue's secretary. The secretary nodded and went to do it. In addition to being surprised, Wang Mei was envious of Huang Lele. Yang Ming took out 40 billion and deposited it in Huang Lele's name without blinking. Originally, Wang Jianxue thought that Yang Ming and Huang Lele were together because of the Huang family's business. Now it seemed that they were simply dismissive of tens of billions. Thinking about it, would a gambling master like Yang Ming be short of money? Miss Huang, this is the bank card. 40 billion has been transferred in. The secretary handed the bank card to Huang Lele. Huang Lele took the bank card and was about to give it to Yang Ming. Yang Ming waved his hand and said, just leave it with you. Even if Huang Lele didn't care about money, she also knew that 40 billion was a large number. Yang Ming could put it with her, which showed that she was still very important in his heart. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but feel a little happy. At this time, Yu Dai came back with a gloomy face. When he saw Wang Jianxue, he walked over. President Wang, what is going on? I am about to win against Jing Xiaoping, and Huawei Casino can be closed for a month. Wang Jianxue smiled bitterly and shook his head. He said in his heart, if you win the Huawei Casino today, then this grudge will be big, and it won't end well here. At least, the more than 80 billion yuan will definitely not be less. They have a master. We admit defeat. Wang Jianxue also understood Yu Dai's mood. He was about to win, but he was called back. However, even if he won, it was also a kind of irony. The real master was here. Yu Dai was not an opponent at all. Master. Where? Yu Dai asked with some dissatisfaction. Sir, you just won more than 80 billion yuan, but you only took 40 billion yuan. There is a request. Let our casino move 5 kilometers away from here. Wang Jianxue was not afraid of being ugly. Anyway, these things would be told to Yu Dai sooner or later. What? More than 80 billion yuan. Yu was stunned, then he turned to look at Yang Ming. He had never seen such a strange face before. Yu was sure that the person in front of him had never appeared in the gambling industry in Macau. His face immediately showed some dissatisfaction. While I am not here, you come to pick a fight. What kind of ability are you? Do you have the ability to compete with me? Yu Wang Jianxue was a little angry. Isn't this causing trouble? He also knew that Yu might be kind and wanted to save the situation, but Wang Jianxue knew best in his heart how strong the young man in front of him was. Yu was stubborn. He was about to win, but he admitted defeat, which made him very dissatisfied. Now, he was holding his breath. How could he let go of the opportunity? So he pointed to Yang Ming and said, "Do you dare? Let's compete once. The bet is the 40 billion yuan in your hand, and your Huawei casino must move 5 kilometers away from here." Oh. Why should I bet with you? After Yang Ming heard it, he found it funny. What are your chips? What if I win again? Yu was speechless for a while. Yes, the bet of the game is based on fairness. If I win, I can ask Yang Ming to pay this, but what if I lose? Compensate Yang Ming with 40 billion yuan. And move the Nanching casino 10 kilometers away from here. But in order to make you give up, I can bet with you again. Yang Ming looked at Yu's appearance. He knew that if he didn't completely admit defeat today, it was hard to guarantee that he wouldn't go to the Huawei casino to find trouble in the future. If he wasn't there, it was really not easy to deal with. If he challenged in his own name, the Nanching casino didn't need to take any responsibility. Well, if you lose, you promise not to go to the Huawei casino to find trouble in the future. Yu was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming's condition to be so simple. With such a simple condition in exchange for the 40 billion yuan in Yang Ming's hand and the relocation of the Huawei casino 5 kilometers away, it was simply unconditional. I have a big advantage. So, he didn't even think about it. Well, if I lose, not only me, but also my disciples, will not step into the Huawei casino again. Well, then let's bet. I have to hurry back, so let's just bet a simple one. Yang Ming looked around and then moved to the blackjack table not far away. He pulled out a poker card from the discarded card box under the table and said, "You guess what this card is. If you guess it right, I will lose." The poker cards in the casino were only used once, and then they would be thrown into the discarded card box. So, under every table related to poker cards, there was a box of discarded poker cards. You are making things difficult for me. Yu was still very grateful to Yang Ming for giving him such an opportunity. After listening to Yang Ming's words, his face suddenly turned red, and he looked at Yang Ming angrily. Making things difficult? I don't think so. Yang Ming shrugged. You can also draw a card and let me guess. You guess. Do you think I don't understand your little tricks? Yu roared angrily. At that time, I am afraid you will say that you can't guess what it is, and then the two people will be considered a draw, right? Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect Yu to association for this. Yang Ming didn't mean this, but now listening to Yu, it really seemed to be the case. If he said that he couldn't guess it, then wouldn't it be a draw? Since it was a draw, then no one would pay the bet. Chapter 873. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but be dumbfounded. It seems that this Yu is really careful. He even thought of this situation. However, Yu couldn't be blamed for being careful. This was his last chance to make a comeback. If it were anyone else, they would be careful. Well, if it's a tie, the 40 billion yuan in my hand will be considered as a loss to you. How about it? Yang Ming smiled at Yu Dai. Are you serious? Yu Dai was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to actually say this. Didn't he get a big bargain? Of course, I will keep my word. Yang Ming nodded. Good. It's a deal. Yu Dai said with some excitement. This was simply a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even if the Nanjing casino eventually had to move out of here, it would be great to recover the loss of 40 billion yuan. Then, can we start? Yang Ming pointed to the poker card in his hand. You guess. I admit defeat. I can't guess. Yu Dai said straightforwardly. This was simply impossible to guess. Casually drawing a card from the discard box, I'm afraid that only X-ray vision can guess it. Hee. Well, then it's your turn. Yang Ming said and consciously retreated to the side, 10 meters away from the discard box. Okay, it's my turn. Although Yu Dai felt that Yang Ming couldn't play any tricks in the Nanjing casino, he still cautiously changed the discard box on the table. He casually drew a card from it and put it on the table. This is it. Guess what it is? 5 of hearts. Yang Ming glanced at it casually and said. In fact, Yu Dai didn't know what this card was. He didn't even look at it. He directly put it on the table. He didn't think that Yang Ming could guess it right. When he heard Yang Ming casually say, 5 of hearts, he thought that Yang Ming was just talking nonsense. Yu Dai didn't take it seriously. He smiled and said, you let me win. Although I don't deserve this 40 billion yuan, the Nanjing casino needs this money very much. What are you talking about? Yang Ming heard Yu Dai's words and asked, baffled. Didn't you say before that if it was a draw, you would lose 40 billion? Yu Dai thought that Yang Ming was pretending to be stupid, and he was a little annoyed. Do you want to go back on your word? Are you going back on your words? When did I go back on my words? Yang Ming figured out what Yu Dai meant. Obviously, he misunderstood. You didn't go back on your words. Why don't you admit it when it's a tie? Yu Dai questioned. You haven't even flipped your cards, how do you know it's a draw? Yang Ming originally had some sympathy for Yu Dai, but now seeing him so arrogant, there was a sense of disgust in his heart. He took Huang Leilei's hand and said to Zhang Bin, let's go. Since the boss spoke, Zhang Bin naturally followed immediately. Although he was curious about what the card in Yu Dai's hand was, he couldn't look at it. Are you kidding me? Yu Dai suddenly blushed. Zhang Bin thought it was because Wang Mei and Huang Leilei were there, so Yang Ming couldn't say too much. Everyone in the Huawei casino was very puzzled. Yu Dai was about to win. Why did he give up? Not only did he give up, but he also directly admitted defeat. This made Zhang Guozong and Jing Xiaoping puzzled. At this time, seeing that Yang Ming and Huang Leilei came back, they quickly greeted them. Yang Ming, Leilei, Yu Dai suddenly admitted defeat. It's really strange. You weren't here just now, so you didn't see the weird scene. He was about to win, but he admitted defeat after receiving a call. Oh. Really? Hee. Yang Ming smiled after listening. Yeah, it's really unexpected. But no matter what, our casino doesn't have to close, but Nanjing Casino has to close for a month. Zhang Guozong said with some excitement. They had been suppressing their competitors, and now they were going to close. This was a very happy thing. It is estimated that closing for a month is not enough. Yang Ming said indifferently, it will take at least 3 months, right? 3 months? What do you mean? Zhang Guozong was stunned. He was somewhat inexplicable. Bro won the Nanjing Casino. He won more than 80 billion in a while. After that, Wang Jinxue couldn't do anything. He had to ask the bro to let him live. Finally, the bro was merciful and only asked him for 40 billion, but he gave him a condition. He asked him to move the casino 5 kilometers away from Huawei Casino. Zhang Bin excitedly told what happened at the time. What? Your bro is? Zhang Guozong listened for a long time and asked in disbelief. My bro is Yang Ming. Zhang Bin said very proudly, as if he won the Nanjing Casino 80 billion. I didn't hear it wrong, right? Zhang Guozong looked at Yang Ming and Huang Lele suspiciously. Uncle Zhang, Yang Ming really beat them. Huang Lele said affirmatively, 40 billion is in my card. Oh my god. Zhang Guozong felt like he was dreaming. The competitor who had always been on good terms with him was gone just like that. He even lost 40 billion. Is this true? However, before Zhang Guozong could recover from the shock, his phone rang. The news in the gambling world spread very quickly. It didn't take long for the other casino owners to know the news today. They all called to congratulate Zhang Guozong. However, most of these congratulations were against their hearts, but they had to show goodwill to Zhang Guozong. It couldn't be helped because there was a peerless master in other people's casinos. After hearing the deeds of Yang Ming, in addition to being surprised, they were secretly shocked. If Yang Ming went to their place to find trouble, then no one was his opponent, so instead of being enemies with Zhang Guozong, it was better to show goodwill to him and have a good relationship with each other. Anyway, they were far away from the Huawei Casino, and there was no conflict of interest. President Zhang, congratulations. You fought a beautiful battle. The person who called was the boss of XX Casino. President X, this is not my credit, it is the boyfriend of our chairman's daughter. Zhang Guozong's reaction was also very fast. He understood in an instant that all this was true. It was not a dream. The competitor who had troubled him for a long time was really going to leave. Then, this kind of phone call continued. All of them congratulated Zhang Guozong. While Zhang Guozong was excited, his heart began to be full of awe for Yang Ming. 100 million to win 80 billion. What kind of speed is this? It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the god of gamblers. Looking at Huang Lele's usual innocent and lovely appearance, he didn't expect her boyfriend to be so powerful. Before that, Zhang Guozong was still thinking about how Yang Ming pursued the myths of the Huang family. Now it seemed that he was indeed not an ordinary person. With Yang Ming's gambling skills, if he wanted to develop in the gambling world, it would be difficult for Huawei Casino not to do it. Chapter 874. Of course, this incident only caused a sensation in the gambling industry. Yang Ming did not say his name at the time, and the Nanjing Casino was also very professional. It did not announce Yang Ming's appearance. They were now trying to avoid trouble. They did not dare to cause trouble again. Otherwise, if Yang Ming came to the door again, then the trouble would be big. Therefore, only the same industry knew the real reason for the relocation of the Nanjing Casino. The spectators in the Nanjing Casino gave a lot of hush money. The whole thing was carried out in a low-key manner. After bidding farewell to Huang Lele, Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Wang Mei returned to the rented hotel. Wang Mei did not tell her parents that Zhang Bin was regarded as a murder suspect. She was afraid that they would be worried. When they returned to the hotel, Wang Mei's parents were watching TV in the room. Dad, Mom, are you hungry? Let's go eat something together, asked Wang Mei. No, you go ahead. If there is nothing else, let's go home. We are not used to living in the hotel, said Wang Mei's father. You are not going with us. Wang Mei knew that it was difficult to change her parents' minds, but she still asked regretfully. No, we are used to it here. Wang Mei's father said, if you are free, you can come and see us. Okay. Wang Mei was helpless and knew that it was useless to say anything more. As they were talking, Suya's phone call came in. Yang Ming's heart moved. He made a gesture to Zhang Bin, then turned out of the room and picked up the phone. Little Ye, are you done with your work? And come to me in a while. I will ask Su Li to pick you up, said Suya. Okay, then I will go now. Yang Ming sighed in his heart. He always had an inexplicable impulse or excitement for Suya. Every time he received a call from Suya, his heartbeat was very fast. This feeling was like first love, but it was not entirely. Yang Ming himself didn't know what kind of feeling this was. In short, every time he thought of Suya's name, his mind couldn't help but flash back to his second year of junior high and the bits and pieces of his time with Suya. Good memories were always unforgettable. Yang Ming put away his thoughts, said goodbye to Zhang Bin, and hurried out of the hotel. His trip to Macau was coming to an end with the departure of Suya. He stopped a taxi and went directly to the door of the hotel where Suya was located. At this time, there is still someone in Suya's room. Although Yang Ming was not such a narrow-minded person, there were other men in Suya's room at this time. It inevitably made Yang Ming feel a little uncomfortable. Not long after, Su Li came out of the hotel and saw Yang Ming. She waved to Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, come with me. Su Li smiled and nodded to Yang Ming. She had already been instructed by Su Haikua to be respectful to Yang Ming. In fact, after knowing the identity of Yang Ming, Su Li immediately understood that this person was Suya's little boyfriend. Su Li was also kind to Yang Ming from the bottom of her heart. Su Li was very familiar with the Su family. Su Haikua also regarded her as one of his own, so he did not hide Suya's identity from her. It was just that she didn't know so much in detail. She only knew that Suya learned to disguise herself under the guidance of a master. Of course, the so-called disguise, in her understanding, was actually using some supplementary cosmetics to put on makeup. She had never thought that it could be done directly through thought. Is there someone else in Little Ye's room? Yang Ming asked tentatively. And he is the young master of Macau's Flying Eagle Entertainment. He is also the organizer of Shuya's concert in Macau this time. Su Li nodded and introduced. I see. Yang Ming thought it was a work matter, so he didn't think much about it. They went upstairs and came to the door of Shuya's room. Su Li knocked on the door, and Shuya's clear voice came from inside, please come in. Su Li pushed the door open and entered the room with Yang Ming. In the room, Shuya and a man in his 20s sat face to face on the sofa in the living room. There were two other men standing on the side. Obviously, they were with the man. Shuya saw that Yang Ming came, so she stood up and smiled at the man. Mr. Li, I have a friend here. This Mr. Li was the young master of Macau's Flying Eagle Entertainment Company, Limited, mentioned by Su Li. Oh, it's okay. Then if you have something to say, just say it first. I will wait for you here. Li Jiaoliang didn't seem to hear the intention of Shuya to send him away. It's already very late today. Why don't we talk later? Shuya frowned slightly and said with a smile. It's okay. I'm not sleepy. Li Jiaoliang said after listening. Then let's talk first. The matter between me and my friend can't be finished in a short time. I don't know how long you have to wait. Shuya said with some helplessness. Well, let's continue to talk. Li Jiaoliang didn't mean to be modest at all. He boasted shamelessly and directly ignored Yang Ming on the side. Just now, what do you think of the suggestion I said? Sorry, I have already said that I have no plans to change companies. Shuya said with a smile. I have already said that if you come to our Flying Eagle Entertainment, then you are our Flying Eagles #1. With my support behind you, it won't be difficult for you to become popular all over the world. said Li Jiaoyang. Thank you for Mr. Li's love. I think it's better to do well in the Asian market first. Shuya said. Little Ya, don't you understand my intentions? Li Jiaoyang suddenly changed his tone and became passionate. He stepped forward to grab Shuya's hand. His address for Shuya also changed to Little Ya. Shuya had seen a lot of people like Li Jiaoyang. How could she not understand his ulterior motive? Letting her sign a contract with his company was just an excuse to pursue her. Shuya quietly avoided Li Jiaoyang's hand and said faintly, Mr. Li, please conduct yourself with dignity. Little Ya, I said so much just to prove how much I love you. Li Jiaoyang reached out to grab Shuya's hand again. I say, are you sick in the head? Yang Ming grabbed Li Jiaoyang's collar and pulled him up. He stared at him and said, do you want to be a hooligan? In front of me, I can tolerate it if you show your love to my woman. After all, human rights are important now. People have the right to like others. But if you act like a hooligan in public, it can't be tolerated. You are the one who is sick. Li Jiaoyang was showing off his passion, and it was suddenly destroyed. He was very upset. Don't fucking pull me. Take your hand away. You are really fucking meddling in other people's business. Li Jiaoyang said fucking 3 times in one sentence. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. When this guy goes out, he brings his mother with him. Does he have an Oedipus syndrome? Although Yang Ming sometimes swore, he didn't do it as often as he did. She has obviously rejected you, yet you are still trying to annoy her. Do you want to die? Yang Ming glared at him and shouted. You two are stupid. Pull this guy away. Fuck, are you crazy? Who the fuck cares about other people picking up girls? Li Jiaoyang impatiently ordered the 2 men. Before, the 2 men didn't make a move because they didn't get Li Jiaoyang's permission. People who could appear here were definitely not small characters. They didn't know Yang Ming's identity, so they naturally didn't dare to make a move. Now that the young master had ordered, there was no problem. Anyway, if there was a problem, the young master would be responsible. As soon as the 2 came up, they wanted to pull Yang Ming away from the left and right. Su Li was suddenly anxious and shouted, What are you doing? Your young master was rude to our Miss Shu. Miss Shu's friend stopped your young master. But how could the 2 bodyguards care so much? Their duty was to listen to Li Jiaoyang's arrangement. They simply turned a deaf ear to Su Li's voice. However, how could Yang Ming be dealt with by 2 bodyguards? Shu Yi didn't doubt Yang Ming's skill at all. She had some sympathy for Li Jiaoyang in her heart. This rich family's young master really didn't suffer. He didn't know the dangers of society. Yang Ming killed people without blinking. You still dare to challenge him? Sure enough, when Yang Ming saw that someone was pulling him, he impatiently used his empty left hand to slap each of them. He directly beat the 2 bodyguards until they were dizzy. As for Yang Ming, he directly carried Li Jiaoyang to the window, opened the window with his hand, and pushed half of Li Jiaoyang's body out. What the fuck are you doing? Li Jiaoyang was shocked and cried out in horror. Yang Ming found it funny. This guy never forgot his mother no matter what. When Li Jiaoyang's 2 bodyguards heard their master calling for help, they immediately woke up and rushed towards Yang Ming. Stop, as soon as you come over, I'll let go of my hand and your young master will fall. Yang Ming pointed at the 2 bodyguards and said. The bodyguards were shocked and immediately stopped in their tracks. Who could bear this responsibility? Do you believe that I won't let go and you'll fall to your death? Yang Ming turned his head and asked Li Jiaoyang fiercely. I fucking believe you. Li Jiaoyang was about to cry. What kind of person is this? So violent, he's simply a fucking madman. If you believe me, then hurry up and fuck off. Yang Ming pulled Li Jiaoyang back and pushed him towards the two bodyguards. The two of them quickly caught the young master and the three of them left the room dejectedly. In the corridor, Li Jiaoyang cursed with lingering fear, "What fucking person, he's a madman. I almost fell." Chapter 875. Young master, do you want us to find someone to fix this guy? The two bodyguards said flatteringly. They didn't do anything just now, causing their young master to almost be thrown down the stairs. The two bodyguards were still very guilty. "Fix my ass," Li Jiaoyang said with lingering fear. "Didn't you see that guy is a madman? It's better to stay away from this kind of person." To be honest, Li Jiaoyang was a very timid person. Although he sometimes had a lot of bad ideas, he was very afraid of death. Seeing how terrifying Yang Ming was, he naturally didn't want to provoke trouble. Oh. The two bodyguards naturally knew Li Jiaoyang's character. They were just saying it to show their loyalty. They didn't want to go even if they were asked to. Who would want to provoke a madman? Let's go pick up the young lady of the Huang family on the weekend. That Huang Lele is also a beauty. It's not bad to get her. Li Jiaoyang forgot the pain after the scar healed, and a lewd expression suddenly appeared on his face. What the hell is this birdman doing? Do you want me to kill him? Yang Ming was angry when he thought of Li Jiaoyang. After Su Li tactfully left the room, Yang Ming said snappily. Hee hee. Suya smiled and said, "That's not necessary. There are so many people chasing me. Can you kill them all?" "It's not impossible." Yang Ming smiled and said, "I think you'd better not be a star. Otherwise, there are so many flies around you. I'll be worried." "Well, I have this plan, but I can't just quit the music industry. Sometimes, I have to think about the feelings of the fans. They support me so much. I can't bear to make them too sad." Suya said with a sigh. "I'm just saying it casually. I won't interfere with your thoughts." Yang Ming smiled. "By the way, can you change back to Suya's appearance? It looks a little awkward." "I don't think so. There are too many people in this hotel. I'm afraid someone will come in a while." Suya smiled and said, "But it's great that you have two girlfriends." You seem to have more than two girlfriends. Jealous?" Yang Ming was shocked when he heard Suya's tone. "Of course not." Suya smiled and said, "How can I eat so much? I think it's fine now. If you didn't transfer back then how would we be now?" Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Perhaps if Suya didn't transfer, then there wouldn't be Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. "I feel very satisfied to be able to meet you again." Suya shook her head. "Yang Ming, do you know? I once thought that I would never be able to be with you in this lifetime. How is that possible?" Yang Ming was stunned, but he smiled and said, "I'm still in Songjiang. If you really want to find me, it shouldn't be difficult." "I'm not talking about this." Suya shook her head. "I'm referring to your heart. I'm afraid that you no longer have me in your heart. Let's not talk about such a heavy topic." Yang Ming felt that Suya seemed to be a little sentimental today. Are you okay?" "No, it's just that we just met, and we have to be separated again. I feel a little uncomfortable." Suya said with some sadness, "I don't know why, but I'm a little scared. I'm afraid that your feelings for me are just the passion of your youth. After a long time, it will cool down." After listening to Suya's words, Yang Ming's heart trembled. "Yeah. What kind of feelings do I have for Suya? Is it really like what Suya said? Is it just the passion of my youth? It shouldn't be. Every time I see Suya, I will be moved. This is not a passion, but a kind of love. Thinking of this, Yang Ming smiled and said, "What about your feelings for me? Is it also the kind of passion of your youth?" "Me? Of course not," Suya denied with certainty. "That's it. What you think is what I think." Yang Ming gently hugged Suya and said in her ear. After Suya listened, her body trembled, and then there was a gentle smile in her eyes. "Yes, sometimes you care too much. If you think about it from another perspective, you can easily get the answer. Time is always short in front of lovers." Yang Ming was afraid that if he stayed in Suya's room for a long time, it would have a bad influence on her. Nowadays, entertainment reporters were everywhere. "If I have time, I will go to Hong Kong to see you. If I have time, I will go to Songjiang to find you." The two people said goodbye almost in unison. Yang Ming hugged Suya for the last time, then turned and strode out of Suya's room. "Are you leaving?" In the corridor, Suli had already been waiting there. "And, take care of Lilia for me." Yang Ming nodded and said to Suli, "Even if you don't say it, I will take care of her." Suli smiled. "If there is another garbage like that, if you and Lilia can't handle it, just call me. I will definitely rush over as soon as possible." Yang Ming said. "That's not necessary. We are all following bodyguards." "Even if you didn't come, I would call the bodyguards if that happened," said Suli. At night, Yang Ming couldn't sleep. He quietly leaned against the window of the hotel and recalled the past. Today's mood was the same as when he held hands with Suya for the first time. He was excited and couldn't sleep, but there was also some sadness of parting. Looking at the distant sky, the planes with navigation lights flashing slowly rushed into the dark sky. Yang Ming wondered if Suya would be on one of them. In the early morning, Suya would leave by plane. He took out a pack of cigarettes, lit one and put it in his mouth. Yang Ming rarely smoked. He would only smoke one when he had something on his mind. Unknowingly, the sky was already bright. He looked back at the mobile phone on the table. He didn't know when he received a message. It was from Suya, telling him that she had boarded the plane. There was a knock on the door and Zhang Bin's voice. After washing his face, Yang Ming returned to his usual look. He opened the door and laughed, "It's so early in the morning. Can't you let me rest?" "Bro, look at you. You are quite awake. You don't look like you are sleeping." Zhang Bin laughed. "I didn't sleep at all." Yang Ming said, "What's the matter? Tell me. We have been in Macau for so many days, but we haven't played around yet. I was thinking, why don't we let Wang Mei be a tour guide today? Let's walk around." Zhang Bin said. "All right, where are we going? You tell me." Yang Ming wanted to ease his mood and free himself from the sadness of parting. "Let's eat first. Ask Wang Mei later," Zhang Bin said. The three of them hurriedly ate in the restaurant. Yang Ming called Huang Lele and told her that he wanted to walk around in Macau. Huang Lele naturally agreed to come to the hotel to find them later. Today, Huang Lele drove the Toyota Priva commercial car. All of them could sit down, so they didn't have to take a taxi. Huang Lele was dressed very brightly today. She wore a light green windbreaker and her hair was tied up. She looked like a female student who came to travel. Seeing her, it also made Yang Ming's gloomy mood become sunny. "Where should we go first?" Wang Mei was worthy of being a flight attendant. At this time, she played to her advantage. The most things in Macau are temples and churches. This is a city with the integration of Chinese and Western cultures, so people have many beliefs. I heard that the scenery of Nanwan Park is good. Let's just walk around. We don't need to go to churches and temples. They are everywhere. Yang Ming suggested. Alright, there are really not many scenic spots in Macau. To be honest, Macau is a tourist city. Most people come here just to see this gambling city known as Asia's Las Vegas and feel the pleasure of gambling. Wang Mei said. Forget about the casino. Zhang Bin knew that he couldn't catch up with his boss since he saw Yang Ming's extraordinary skills yesterday. His previous superstition about whether he could have an outburst of luck and win 10 million yuan had faded. Luck and character were important, but Zhang Bin also saw that Yang Ming did not rely on these two things. No matter how good his character was, it was impossible to not lose. So there was only one possibility. That was, Yang Ming did not rely on these things, but his real skills. Although Yang Ming did not specifically elaborate, Zhang Bin also understood that this thing was definitely not something that could be learned overnight. Those casino consultants who studied gambling all day were not as good as Yang Ming, let alone himself. Huang Lele drove the car to Nanwan Park. The number of cars in Macau was more than double that in Songjiang. Driving on the main road, the speed basically could not go up. It was normal to stop and go. Right, my second brother said that he is going to have a party at home tomorrow. Are you all coming? Huang Lele suddenly remembered this, so she asked Zhang Bin and Wang Mei. As for Yang Ming, he had promised to go last time. Let's go, okay. After all, Zhang Bin was not familiar with Huang Lele's family. The two only knew each other through Yang Ming and Wang Mei. What's wrong with it? My second brother said that I can bring a few of my friends. Huang Lele said indifferently, you all should come. In fact, I don't really know those people. If you don't come, it will be boring for me. Okay, then I will accept your invitation. Zhang Bin was worried that there was no place to play. Since Huang Lele invited him, he naturally did not refuse. Didi. The car behind them honked impatiently. Huang Lele looked up and found that the signal light had already turned green. She turned back to speak, but she forgot to look in front. She stuck out her tongue embarrassedly and quickly started the car. The car behind Huang Lele, after Huang Lele started the car, quickly passed in front of Huang Lele. It gave Huang Lele a hard goodbye, and then left quickly. Zhang Bin was shocked. He almost threw the camera to the ground. He turned his head and saw a young man dressed very differently. He was smoking a cigarette. He was holding a high-end SLR camera in his hand. He was taking photos of a young woman dressed in the same way. What does it have to do with me if you are taking photos? Zhang Bin heard that the young man was very rude. Suddenly, he was a little unhappy. Find your own angle. Is the park owned by your family? You are taking photos. I am taking photos. Che, you are taking photos with your broken card camera. Don't you find it shameful to take it out? Don't ruin art. The young man glanced at the card camera in Zhang Bin's hand disdainfully. Then, he said with a look of contempt, come on. I don't have time to waste with you. Just stay where you are. What are you talking about? Are you the only one who is an artist? Zhang Bin was unhappy, especially when he was despised in front of Wang Mei. I'm too lazy to explain to a non-professional like you. But since you don't find it shameful, I will let you know what a professional is. The young man walked in front of Zhang Bin and pointed to his camera. Do you see it? Canon 1D Mark III, full SLR. You won't understand even if I tell you this. Look at the broken thing in your hand. Don't embarrass yourself here. Oh. Is your camera good? At this time, Yang Ming greeted him with a smile and asked the young man. Of course. It is the top full SLR camera. It is the best in the Canon series. The young man said proudly, only a top photographer like me deserves to have such an artifact. Oh, can you lend me your artifact? Yang Ming pointed to the camera in the young man's hand and asked. The young man didn't want to agree, but when he heard that Yang Ming also said that the camera in his hand was an artifact, he was happy. He handed the camera to Yang Ming and then said to Zhang Bin contemptuously, "You see, you don't know as much as your friend." Yang Ming took the camera and pretended to show an appreciative look. Then, he fiddled with it twice in his hand. The young man stared at Yang Ming's hand without blinking, fearing that he would break it. "Okay, you just need to look at it. You are not a photographer. You can't understand it. Okay." Yang Ming handed the camera back to the young man and smiled. "Thank you. Okay, you guys hurry up and leave. Your friend's words are good." The young man glanced at Zhang Bin, took the camera, turned and left. Perhaps he was a little tired from the shoot, so he called his female companion over. The two sat together in the pavilion in the park, took out 2 cans of beer and some snacks from his backpack, and the two ate facing each other. Zhang Bin and Huang Lele didn't know these two people, but Yang Ming had a deep impression of them. These two people were driving the red Porsche Cayenne before and stopped Huang Lele's car. "Bro, did you take the wrong medicine just now? Why are you so friendly with that idiot?" Zhang Bin was a little puzzled. In his opinion, these two people actually pretended to be badass in front of Yang Ming. Weren't they looking for a beating? Hee, look at what this is. Yang Ming handed the thing in his hands to Zhang Bin. Memory card. Zhang Bin took the thing in Yang Ming's hand and suddenly realized. Bro, it can't be. You stole the memory card in that idiot's camera. Isn't he an artist? Let's see what he can do without the card. Yang Ming said with a smirk, "You don't know, right? These two guys are the two guys who drove the red Porsche Cayenne to overtake us." Damn, bro, you saw this clearly. I'm impressed. Zhang Bin sighed, but he was a little curious. I say, bro, when did you become a godly thief? Last time, you stole the check from Lu Jihao. This time, you stole the memory card. I didn't see how you did it. If you saw it, then others saw it too. Yang Ming said with a smile, if you want to learn, I can teach you, but I'm afraid you can't persevere. Then forget it. When Zhang Bin heard something like persevere, he understood that this thing couldn't be learned overnight. Huang Lele saw the memory card in Yang Ming's hand and couldn't help but smile. Suddenly, Huang Lele felt that she seemed to have earned a lot. Her boyfriend seemed to be very powerful. He was so powerful in all aspects. Although Huang Lele didn't care about these, who didn't want to be better? Originally, the two people came together by accident. Huang Lele didn't expect anything from Yang Ming. Now it seemed that, as she was thinking, she suddenly heard the strange cry of the young man not far behind her. Damn! Why is this camera broken? There's no memory card. The card isn't inserted, right? It's normal. The young woman said indifferently. Oh. Damn, where's the card? The young man screamed again. This camera eats the card. Are you sure you put the card in? Asked the young woman. If I don't put the card, how can I take a picture of you? Take a dick picture. The young man glared and asked, the camera was placed here just now. Did anyone touch it? How would I know? Isn't the camera by your side? Said the young woman. Yeah, but I didn't see anyone move it. Damn. The young man was anxious. Isn't it just a memory card? What can you do? Now that the memory card is so cheap, just buy another one. The young woman curled her lips and was very disdainful of the young man's stinginess. Damn, what do you know? There are nude photos of me in it. The young man shouted. Nude photos. You still have the hobby of playing with selfies. When the young woman heard it, she was very amused. If this spreads out, I will be famous. The young man began to rummage through the things in his bag. What's wrong with that? You'll become a pornographic man. The young woman said indifferently and even laughed twice. Laugh, laugh, laugh your mother. Yesterday, the XX photos of us in the hotel are also in the card. The young man scolded. What did you say? You are shameless. The young woman slapped him. The young man was not easy to provoke. The two people immediately fought together. You are willing to have XX with me? Smelly bitch, you deserve it. Not far away, Zhang Bin, Wang Mei, and Huang Lele had already laughed and almost fainted. Only Yang Ming was still watching the two people continue to perform with interest. Bro, you are really ruthless. Zhang Bin smiled and raised his thumb. This move is too badass. How do I know that there are pornographic photos in this card? Yang Ming shrugged innocently. Hey, go back to the hotel at night and see. Zhang Bin said wretchedly. Forget it. What is there to see about this kind of person? Yang Ming shook his head and threw the memory card on the ground. He stepped on it and crushed it. The chip inside was broken. Obviously, there was no possibility of repair. Let them be scared for a few days. This kind of person needs to be taught a lesson. Zhang Bin looked at the memory card that had turned into pieces on the ground with some regret. He said disappointedly, I was thinking about giving them internet access. Come on, don't do those useless things. Yang Ming said, let's go. Don't worry about them. Chapter 877. At noon, the four people went out of the park together, but they saw that the young man and the young woman were still arguing, but both of them were sitting in the car at this time. They ate something casually in a nearby restaurant and returned to the parking lot. The young man and young woman had already left. They didn't know where they were arguing. However, they probably wouldn't stop for a few days. They would probably be frightened for a long time. In the afternoon, under Wang Mei's suggestion, the four people came to Macau's famous new 800 department store. In fact, they mainly accompanied Wang Mei and Huang Lele. Girls like to shop, and Huang Lele was no exception. However, Zhang Bin, when passing by the camera counter, stared at the Canon 1D Mark III on the counter. After Yang Ming saw it, he smiled and said, Do you have any psychological shadow? Boss, do you think I should grit my teeth and buy one? Zhang Bing said seriously. Then buy it. It's not like you can't afford it. Yang Ming smiled. So, Zhang Bin swiped the card quickly and held the new camera in his arms happily. He just said with some disappointment, if the memory card wasn't crushed, it can still be used now. Huang Lele and Wang Mei's attention was on fashion and cosmetics. Yang Ming was naturally not interested in these, but he also bought some casually. He planned to give them to Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun as gifts when he went back. After thinking about it, he bought a pair of sunglasses for each of them. After hesitating, Yang Ming also chose a gift for Zhao Ying. Although she was not his woman, there was already some ambiguity between them. He couldn't leave her out. Looking at Yang Ming buying things, Wang Mei smiled and reminded Zhang Bin, Don't you want to buy something for your first wife? Zhang Bin was a little embarrassed after hearing it. He scratched his head and didn't know what to say. Wang Mei said, I won't say anything. Why aren't you as open and honest as Yang Ming? Zhang Bin shouted that he was wronged. Yang Ming has several girlfriends. How can you call that open and honest? I am not open and honest just to avoid suspicion. Finally, under Wang Mei's suggestion, he bought a handbag and a pair of jeans for Zhao Sisi. Zhang Bin was naturally clear about Zhao Cici's size, so he didn't need someone to try it on. Wang Mei was still relatively smart at this point. Although she was completely sure that Zhang Bin would love her more, and in fact, it seemed to be the case, she was very low-key. She still maintained the proper respect for Zhao Cici, whom she had never met. It was not because of anything else. Wang Mei was afraid of Yang Ming. She was afraid that Yang Ming would think that she was the kind of woman who was spoiled and arrogant, and let Zhang Bing abandon her. Wang Mei didn't doubt this at all. Yang Ming's influence on Zhang Bin was incomparable to anyone else's. Wang Mei saw this very clearly. After seeing Yang Ming's extraordinary strength, Wang Mei didn't doubt this even more. Although she sometimes wondered why Zhang Bing couldn't be as powerful as Yang Ming, she sometimes wondered why Zhang Bing wasn't as powerful as Yang Ming. The person she liked was still Zhang Bin. Moreover, she felt that as long as Zhang Bin and Yang Ming were together, then Yang Ming would definitely not treat him badly. Judging from the recent events, Yang Ming was indeed like this. He was really good to his brother, Zhang Bin. Wang Mei just didn't know that when Yang Ming was in poverty in high school, he always ate Zhang Bin and drank Zhang Bin's food. Even the taxi was paid for by Zhang Bin, and Zhang Bin didn't feel that there was anything wrong with this. Between brothers, whoever had the ability would pay more. This was normal. When Wang Mei bought things, naturally, Zhang Bin used his card, but Huang Lei used her own card to buy things. In fact, she didn't care about this at all. Yang Ming could deposit 40 billion in her card, so he definitely wouldn't care about this. It was just that Huang Lei was used to using her card to buy things. Time passed quickly during this shopping trip, and it was evening in the blink of an eye. Each of the four people carried a fairly large shopping bag in their hands, and they directly piled up the back of the business car. Tonight, go back to the hotel with me. Otherwise, I can't find where your house is tomorrow. After getting in the car, Yang Ming grabbed Huang Lei's hand and whispered. "Ah." Although Huang Lei and Yang Ming had that kind of relationship several times, it was the first time for Huang Lei to spend the night with a man. It was inevitable that she was a little flustered. However, Huang Lei was Huang Lei after all. Her thinking was very simple. Since the two of them were lovers, it was normal to live together, right? Therefore, Huang Lei nodded normally and said, "Well, can you go online in your hotel room?" "Yes, I can." "What's wrong?" Yang Ming was amused by Huang Lei's jumping thinking. "I have an appointment with Little Fox Fairy tonight to play the pocket money battle," Huang Lei said. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. This Huang Lei, aw. She is so good that I really have nothing to say. Zhang Bin and Wang Mei didn't need to discuss it all. The two of them lived together, so the business car drove to the hotel rented by Yang Ming without any hesitation. Yang Ming's hotel was originally for two people. The hotel wouldn't care if one more person stayed in it. Huang Lei originally lived in a small single apartment near the Huawei casino, so she didn't have to inform anyone when she came out. Back at the hotel, Huang Lei and Wang Mei happily tried on the clothes that they had just bought today. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin sorted out the things that they would bring back. They planned to send them back by express delivery tomorrow. Otherwise, if there were too many things, it would be inconvenient to carry them on the plane. As they were sorting out the things, Yang Ming's cell phone suddenly rang. Yang Ming said to Zhang Bin, "You tidy up first. I will answer the call." "Hello. Hello." Standing up and coming to the windowsill, Yang Ming picked up the phone. "Brother Yang Ming, I am Huang Rongjin." Huang Rongjin's hearty laughter came from the phone. "Brother Huang." "Hello, what can I do for you?" Yang Ming didn't expect Huang Rongjin to call him. Although he didn't have much contact with Huang Rongjin, they were very congenial. Since he met Huang Rongjin in Macau, it was appropriate to find an opportunity to meet up. Hee, brother Yangming, you haven't forgotten what I told you last time, right? I just want to give you a reminder. Huang Rongjin laughed. What's the matter? Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't remember what Huang Rongjin asked him. It seems that you really forgot. Huang Rongjin was somewhat helpless, but he also knew that Yang Ming must have something to do in Macau, so he specifically called to remind him. When we met last time, didn't I give you an invitation? Tomorrow, I will hold a small party. If you are free, come over. Let's have a good chat and introduce some friends to you. Ah. Yang Ming remembered that Huang Rongjin did tell him at that time that he was going to hold a party on the weekend and asked him to go. He quickly pulled out the invitation from the pocket of his coat and looked at the date on it. It was written tomorrow. Yang Ming suddenly smiled bitterly. Brother Huang, I'm afraid I can't go tomorrow. What's wrong? Are there still things to do? Asked Huang Rongjin. No, I have already promised another friend of mine to attend her family party tomorrow. Yang Ming explained very apologetically. If that's the case, then forget it. Huang Rongjin said disappointedly, then let's have another chance to meet in private. That's the only way. I'm really sorry, brother Huang. Yang Ming looked at the invitation in his hand and smiled bitterly. He actually forgot all about it. But Huang Lele really had no way not to go. Who let Huang Lele be his girlfriend now? Hanging up the phone, Yang Ming put the invitation back in his pocket and continued to pack the luggage with Yang Ming. In the evening, after Huang Lele took a shower, she sat in front of the computer in pajamas, concentrating on playing the pocket money battle with Little Fox Fairy. Yang Ming was lying in bed, watching TV casually. Yang Ming, you come over and replace me for a while. My hair is almost dry. I'm going to iron it. Huang Lele turned back and shouted to Yang Ming. Can't you just play it later? Yang Ming was a little lazy. He had been shopping for the whole afternoon. Although it was nothing for Yang Ming's physical strength, people were lazy. I'm competing with Little Fox Fairy. I can't stop. Huang Lele said coquettishly, when I go to bed later, I won't feel pain. Yang Ming suddenly laughed after listening. He sat up and came to the computer, but he said, I'll play with you. Don't blame me if you lose. I don't care. I'm going. It won't be easy to do it when my hair is dry. As Huang Lele said this, she quickly ran to the bathroom. Yang Ming looked at the chat history of the two on the screen. Little Fox Fairy was already impatient. She sent it several times, Lele, what are you doing? Hurry up and start, and so on. Yang Ming smiled and clicked the start button. For this game, Yang Ming was not familiar with the rules. When he was basically familiar with the rules, it would be game over. What's the matter, Lele? Why can't you play? Little Fox Fairy asked with some surprise. Although she and Huang Lele just started playing this game, the level of the two people was on par. How could Huang Lele die so quickly? The network is stuck. I'm in the hotel. The network speed is not very good. It's no problem now. Yang Ming replied. Oh, is it okay now? I was wondering why you were so slow to start before. Little Fox Fairy said with realization. It's okay. Probably someone just downloaded it. It's okay now. Yang Ming made up a story. Chapter 878. In this round, Yang Ming mastered the gameplay and rules of this game. It was similar to Bubble Dragon. In fact, it had a high requirement for people's reaction ability, so Yang Ming was still able to play. Little Fox Fairy almost didn't get into the state, and the game was over. No way. Lele, did you take stimulants? How are you so powerful? Little Fox Fairy asked suspiciously. Are you still coming? Yang Ming didn't answer her directly, but asked. Yang Ming wanted her to back off, and then Yang Ming could continue to watch TV. Of course, I'm coming. We agreed to win 3 out of 5 games. Now we have won 2 games each. The last game is crucial, said Little Fox Fairy. So, Yang Ming pressed the start button again. Little Fox Fairy was still defeated by Yang Ming without any suspense. You're not Lele. Little Fox Fairy finally figured out the key to the matter. Hee, she went to do her hair. Let me play for her for a while. Yang Ming didn't deny it. It was a game. There was no need to deny it. How are you so good at playing any game? How long have you played this? Little Fox Fairy said in surprise. I played it for the first time today. Yang Ming replied truthfully. No way. First time. You played it so well. I don't believe it. Little Fox Fairy sent a staring emoji. That wasn't a network card. In fact, I wasn't familiar with the rules of the game. Yang Ming sent a smiling emoji. Compared to playing games, Yang Ming was more willing to chat casually because Yang Ming wasn't very interested in these small online games. Isn't it too cruel? Handsome, give me your QQ. I will ask you for advice when I have time. Little Fox Fairy said. My QQ. I don't play it often. Yang Ming said. No way. So stingy. Are you a man? Little Fox Fairy said. Hee, okay. My QQ number is 19,132XXXX. Yang Ming helplessly told his QQ number to Little Fox Fairy. At this time, Huang Lele had finished her hair and walked out of the bathroom. Yang Ming typed, Lele is back. You guys play, 88, handsome. Little Fox Fairy sent a goodbye emoji. Did you win or lose? Huang Lele leaned down and asked impatiently. She didn't care at all. Inside the bathrobe, her tender white breasts were already reflected in Yang Ming's eyes. We won, but we were seen through. Yang Ming pointed at the chat history on the computer screen. Don't worry about that. It's good that we won. Huang Lele smiled and sat on Yang Ming. She wanted to type to Little Fox Fairy, but because she was sitting on Yang Ming's lap, her body was a little high. It was not very convenient to type, so she sent a voice invitation directly with QQ. Soon, Little Fox Fairy accepted the invitation. A girl's voice came from the computer speaker. Lele, are you back? And, it's me. Huang Lele said, I just finished taking a shower. I was afraid that it would be difficult to do the hair when it was dry, so I went to do my hair first. You are shameless. Find someone to play for you. Little Fox Fairy said, I don't care. The previous one doesn't count. Let's start again. Okay, then let's do it. Huang Lele adjusted her posture. Is it still 3 out of 5 games? Still. Little Fox Fairy said, Right, Lele, I added your husband's QQ. Are you jealous? What's wrong with that? He won't help you. Huang Lele said as she pressed the button to start. The level of the 2 people was about the same. One game took a long time. In the end, Huang Lele finally dragged Little Fox Fairy to death. She was so happy that she danced and twisted on Yang Ming's body. I won. Little Fox Fairy, you should admit defeat. It's just one game. What is there to be happy about? I just made a mistake. Little Fox Fairy said unwillingly. Yang Ming did not care about who won or lost between the two people, but Huang Leilei's twisting on his body made Yang Ming have a physiological impulse. Huang Leilei still twisted on Yang Ming's body without any self-awareness until she felt that her buttocks were uncomfortable by something. Then, she suddenly realized it. She blushed and glared at Yang Ming. Because the voice was turned on, Huang Leilei couldn't say anything. She hoped that her glare would make Yang Ming not disturb her and Little Fox Fairy's game. Yang Ming also thought of this, but the evil interest in his heart couldn't be suppressed. Yang Ming reached out and slowly pulled Huang Leilei's nightgown to the side. Because she had just taken a shower, Huang Leilei did not wear underwear. Her entire lower body was in a state of vacuum. Yang Ming gently hugged Huang Leilei's body, and then he easily put the erection under his body into Huang Leilei's body. Huang Leilei was shocked. She almost screamed, "Aw!" She turned back and stared at Yang Ming, but she suddenly remembered that she was competing with Little Fox Fairy, so she quickly turned back and began to tap on the keyboard. However, because of the turn back just now, she had lost the advantage, and Little Fox Fairy took the initiative. Not long after, Huang Leilei ended up losing. "How is it? I won this game, right? Every dog has its day," Little Fox Fairy said proudly. Huang Leilei was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She couldn't wait to bite Yang Ming to death. However, Little Fox Fairy had already clicked to start. Huang Leilei had no time to scold Yang Ming, and she quickly continued to fight. At this time, Yang Ming didn't care if Huang Leilei was competing with Little Fox Fairy. He picked up Huang Leilei's body and began to move up and down. How could Huang Leilei not understand what Yang Ming was doing? Although the feeling of numbness came, Huang Leilei still bit her lip and fought with Little Fox Fairy with difficulty. However, how could this be tolerated just because he said so? Finally, under Yang Ming's attack, Huang Leilei groaned, "Aw." Huang Leilei was so scared that she quickly turned off the microphone volume on QQ. "Leilei, what's wrong with you?" Little Fox Fairy still heard Huang Leilei's cry, but she didn't think otherwise. She thought that Huang Leilei only screamed because of the game. "What are you doing?" "When I screamed, Little Fox Fairy heard it," Huang Leilei said angrily. "Then wouldn't you not scream?" Yang Ming smiled evilly. "Nonsense. You are messing with me. Can I not scream?" Huang Leilei said angrily. "Then, let's finish the call and then compete." Yang Ming smiled, picked up Huang Leilei, and carried her directly to the bed. Over there, the computer allowed Huang Leilei's pocket money to continue to increase, until game over. "Leilei, what's wrong with you? What's going on?" "Leilei." Little Fox Fairy curiously shouted Huang Leilei's name over there. Huang Leilei on this side was already panting. After a long time, Huang Leilei sat back in front of the computer and turned on the voice chat. "Little Fox Fairy, Little Fox Fairy. Are you still there?" "I'm here." "Leilei, what happened to you just now? Did something happen?" Little Fox Immortal asked with concern. No. Huang Leilei naturally couldn't say that it was because Yang Ming was messing with her. She was quick-witted and found a reason. "Just now, I saw a big cockroach, so I was shocked." "Oh, so that's the case. You scared me to death." Little Fox Fairy breathed a sigh of relief. "I thought something happened to you." "Then, let's not count the game just now. Let's start again." Okay. Huang Leilei said guiltily. Last night, Huang Leilei and Little Fox Fairy fought until 1:00 in the morning. After going to bed, Yang Ming and Huang Leilei couldn't go to sleep immediately. After doing what they loved, it was already 2:00 in the morning, so when they woke up the next morning, it was almost noon. Fortunately, the party at Huang Leilei's house was at night, so they didn't have to worry too much. Therefore, the two were lazy in bed for a long time before they got up. On the other side, Zhang Bin just got up not long ago. It was estimated that he was about the same as Yang Ming. He fought fiercely for half the night last night. The four people casually ate something in the hotel's restaurant, and then went back to their rooms to prepare for the party in the evening. Zhang Bin and Wang Mei were afraid to embarrass Huang Leilei, so they carefully dressed themselves up. Yang Ming was still wearing casual clothes, but Huang Leilei was not very formal. She wore a pure-looking woolen suit, which was quite a match for Yang Ming. At 4:00 in the afternoon, the four people set off from the hotel on time. They still took Huang Leilei's Toyota business car. Unexpectedly, Huang Leilei's villa was also on Luhuan Island. It seemed that many rich people liked to buy villas there. Yang Ming was already familiar with the terrain here. He often appeared in this area a few days ago. On the way, when they passed by Lu Jihao's villa, Yang Ming deliberately paid attention to the situation inside the villa. Chapter 879. Huang Leilei did not park the car in the courtyard of the villa. This was her home, so Huang Leilei naturally drove the car to the underground parking lot. After coming out of the parking lot, the four of them walked to the front door of the villa together. Most of the people who came here had an invitation in their hands. Occasionally, there were people who didn't have an invitation, but they were introduced to the villa by people who had an invitation. However, Huang Leilei obviously did not need these. The security guard who checked the invitation at the door saw Huang Leilei and naturally smiled and greeted, "Mississippi, these are my friends." Huang Leilei pointed to Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Wang Mei and said to the security guard, "Sir, madam, welcome." The security guard quickly said to Yang Ming. In this regard, Yang Ming did not find it strange. These people were paid by Huang Leilei's family. It was normal for them to be respectful to Huang Leilei. The respect to these people was all because of Huang Leilei. Yang Ming did not think that he would have any domineering aura. The first floor of the villa was very large. It was a whole hall, which was very suitable for parties, banquets, and the like. At this time, many people had come to the hall. Most of them were young people, talking in groups of 3 or 4. "You wait for me first. I will go find my second brother," Huang Leilei said to Yang Ming and Wang Mei. "And, you go ahead." Yang Ming knew that Huang Leilei must have her own things to do after returning home. So Yang Ming and the other two people found a seat in the corner of the hall and sat down. Huang Leilei, on the other hand, quickly ran upstairs. "Leilei." Someone in the crowd saw Huang Leilei and immediately greeted her. When Huang Leilei turned around, she saw a friend she was familiar with. "Liu, you are here too." "And, I came with my brother." Liu smiled and said, "My brother can't forget you." After listening to Liu's words, Huang Leilei's face suddenly sank. She hated Liu's brother from the bottom of her heart. He was a typical prodigal son. "Don't joke around," Huang Leilei said perfunctorily. "I'm not joking." "Wait, I'll call him over," Liu said. "Let's talk about it later. I have to go upstairs to find my brother." Huang Leilei quickly responded and turned to go upstairs quickly. Liu shook her head. She knew what kind of person her brother was, but no matter what, he was still her brother. That was why Liu had to help him speak in front of Huang Leilei. "Xiao Yu, who were you talking to just now?" Just as Liu was thinking about it, she heard a voice calling her from behind. When she turned around, it was her brother, Li Jiaoyang. "Leilei came just now, but he went upstairs." Liu pointed upstairs and said, "Oh. Are you helping me, your brother?" When Li Jiaoyang heard Huang Leilei's name, his eyes immediately lit up, and there was a lustful light. Help. Li Yu was a little disgusted by her brother's eyes. Brother, do you really like Huang Lele and want to marry her as your wife, or something else? Of course, I want to be a girlfriend first. Isn't it too early to think about marriage? Li Jiaoyang said in surprise. Sigh. Li Yu sighed. She knew that her brother had this kind of attitude. He was too unserious about emotional matters. In this way, she couldn't help him at all. Li Yu and Huang Lele had a good relationship. Naturally, it was impossible to harm her. What's wrong? I didn't say anything wrong, right? Li Jiaoyang felt that it was normal and said, I haven't played enough yet. At most, I can be a girlfriend first. It won't hinder me from picking up other girls. Li Yu really wanted to kick Li Jiaoyang. What kind of attitude is this? With this kind of attitude, it would be strange if he could be in a relationship. Yeah. Isn't this young Master Li? How was it? Was the little star from last time good? A fat man with a greasy head and powdered face came over and patted Li Jiaoyang's shoulder. Hey! Don't mention it. It was really fucking good. That ass was twisted and flew to the sky. When Li Jiaoyang heard it, he immediately showed a lewd smile. Next time you have good stuff, you have to tell me, said the fat man with a greasy head and powdered face. No problem. Li Jiaoyang patted his chest and promised. Li Yu was really angry. How can this brother be like this? He mixed with a group of bad friends all day long. He didn't learn anything good. After Huang Lele went upstairs, she saw that her second brother was busy ordering the butler to prepare the dishes for the evening. She shouted from a distance, Second brother. Lele. When second brother Huang heard Huang Lele's voice, his face immediately showed a smile. He waved to Huang Lele and said, Come here. How about looking at these dishes with your second brother? You can do it. Huang Lele didn't care about these things. She came up just to say hello to her second brother and tell him that she had arrived. Oh, that's fine. Right, Lele. You are the protagonist today. Why are you wearing these clothes? You should change into something more formal, right? Second brother Huang saw the clothes on Huang Lele's body, so he said. I think it's pretty good, right? Huang Lele said indifferently. That won't do. Second brother Huang looked at the menu in his hand and said to the butler, Okay, just prepare according to these. Okay, second young master. The butler took the menu and hurriedly went to prepare. Lele, be obedient. Go and change your clothes. After second brother Huang waited for the butler to leave, he whispered to Huang Lele, Today's party is mainly for you. How can you not dress more formally? For me. Huang Lele frowned. Yeah, didn't we agree on it? I will introduce you to a young talent. My little sister has reached the age of love. Second brother Huang said with a smile, second brother neglected it before. When I heard Wang Mei say that you were attracted to a boy on the plane, I remembered that my little sister is already 19 years old. Ah. Huang Lele was stunned, and then she stuttered, that. Second brother, I already have a boyfriend. What? You have a boyfriend? This time, it was second brother Huang's turn to be stunned. He didn't expect that in just a few days, his little sister had a boyfriend. Where is he? Bring second brother to meet him. If he is not excellent, second brother will not agree. Second brother Huang was just stunned, and then he returned to normal. He loved Huang Lele very much since he was a child, so the boyfriend that Huang Lele chose herself, he still supported it from the bottom of his heart. He is just downstairs. Huang Lele's face was red. She remembered the absurd love process between herself and Yang Ming. It was really amazing. Oh. Then I have to take a good look. Second brother Huang didn't expect that Huang Lele had actually boldly brought her boyfriend back. This showed that the relationship between the two was already extraordinary. It was no wonder that second brother Huang didn't hear about it. Although Yang Ming was already a household name in the gambling world, and many casino owners knew that the god of gamblers was Huang Lele's boyfriend, this was only in the gambling world. As for Zhang Guizhong, he was not a person who liked to gossip. It was impossible for him to call second brother Huang to talk about this. He felt that Huang Lele would definitely talk to second brother Huang personally. If he said it himself, it would be annoying. Therefore, until now, second brother Huang still didn't know that Huang Lele's boyfriend had become famous in the gambling industry, and he even drove Huawei Casino's rival, Nanching Casino, 5 kilometers away. However, no matter what, you still have to change your clothes. It is hot at home. You are wearing a girl's coat. You are not comfortable. Second brother Huang suggested. That's fine. Huang Lele thought about it and agreed. So, she nodded and walked to her room. She was going to change into something like a sleeveless jacket. Second brother Huang watched Huang Lele return to her room, and then he went downstairs. Many guests had arrived downstairs. He couldn't just ignore them. He had to take care of all aspects of the situation. Most of the people downstairs were second brother Huang's friends. After seeing him come down, they all greeted him. Yang Ming sat in the corner and chatted with Zhang Bin and Wang Mei. Suddenly, he saw a commotion not far away. He looked up. Probably an important person came. Yang Ming didn't care about these abilities, but he was surprised to find that the person standing in the crowd over there was actually an acquaintance of his. Brother Huang. Yang Ming got up and walked over, shouting loudly. Brother Yang Ming. Second brother Huang heard the sound and looked up, but he was surprised. Why are you here? This person was Huang Rongjin, a friend that Yang Ming met in Songjiang. At this time, most people had already greeted Huang Rongjin. They dispersed from his side and were busy with other things. Therefore, after Huang Rongjin saw Yang Ming, he immediately walked over. Me? I came here with my friends to attend the party of the owner here. But you, brother Huang, aren't you also going to hold a party? Why are you attending someone else's party? Yang Ming asked suspiciously. Me? Huang Rongjin pointed to himself and then smiled bitterly. I am the owner here. Today's party is organized by me. Your friend shouldn't have not told you. Ah. You? Yang Ming was shocked after hearing it. Huang Rongjin is the owner here. Then Huang Lele. Both of them have the surname Huang. This person shouldn't be the second brother that Huang Lele mentioned, right? What's wrong with me? Huang Rongjin saw Yang Ming's surprised look and was somewhat inexplicable. You wouldn't be Huang Lele's second brother, right? Asked Yang Ming. Do you know Lele? Huang Rongjin listened to Yang Ming's question and looked at Yang Ming with a strange expression. Yes, and she brought me here. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. He didn't expect that Huang Lele's second brother was actually Huang Rongjin. This was a bit messy. When Huang Rongjin was in Songjiang, he saw Chen Mengyan, so he knew that I had a girlfriend. Now, I am with Huang Lele. Huang Rongjin wouldn't think that I deceived his sister's feelings, right? Lele brought you here. Huang Rongjin suddenly thought of what Huang Lele said before and immediately guessed something. Chapter 880. Yang Ming knew that this matter couldn't be hidden at all. Instead of Huang Lele coming over and adding to the awkwardness, it was better to make things clear now. Therefore, Yang Ming simply nodded. Yes, Lele brought me here. Then, you are Lele's boyfriend? Although Huang Rongjin was a friend of Yang Ming, and the two of them were also very congenial, this matter involved his sister. Huang Rongjin couldn't just consider these friendships, but he had to plan for his sister's future happiness. Therefore, his tone of speaking also became serious. Yang Ming nodded again and admitted it. Yang Ming, I remember. Don't you have a girlfriend? After Huang Rongjin got a positive answer, his face suddenly became a little angry. What the hell is going on? Brother Huang, there are many people here. Let's go over there and talk. Yang Ming pointed to the position in the corner and said. Huang Rongjin naturally didn't want to air his dirty linen in public. Moreover, with his friendship with Yang Ming, he had to give some face to Yang Ming no matter what. So the two people walked side by side to the position in the corner. Now, tell me. What the hell is going on? Huang Rongjin just sat down and couldn't wait to speak. He didn't have the calmness when he met Yang Ming in Songjiang. As the saying goes, concern leads to confusion. It was related to his sister. Of course, Huang Rongjin would be a little anxious. How should I say it? It's a bit hard to explain. Yang Ming touched his chin, then hesitated and said, I met Lele on the plane. Therefore, Yang Ming told Huang Rongjin about the process of meeting Huang Lele. Because Huang Rongjin was not an outsider, Yang Ming simply said that Huang Lele pushed him down. Hearing his little sister being so fierce, Huang Rongjin couldn't help but widen his eyes like two big light bulbs. He looked at Yang Ming in disbelief, and then, you two got together. I've never been one to abandon a woman. Since I already have that kind of relationship with Lele, then. Yang Ming shrugged innocently. It could be seen that Huang Rongjin was no longer angry. No matter how one looked at the current situation, Yang Ming could not be blamed. Instead, it was his mischievous sister who did not know how to control her actions. She could even do such a bold thing. Huang Rongjin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This little sister of his had never been wronged since she was young. Now that she had been wronged by Yang Ming, it was normal for her to seek revenge. However, it was hard to say whether she was taking revenge on Yang Ming or benefiting Yang Ming. So, Lele knows that you have a girlfriend. Huang Rongjin was very surprised. Why didn't his little sister have any resentment? I knew it from the beginning. Yang Ming confessed. However, at the beginning, we agreed that we were only lovers, but after a few days, we developed feelings for each other, and we became boyfriend and girlfriend, ha 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 ha. After Huang Rongjin heard it, he laughed heartily. You too. Forget it. Since this is the case, I won't bother anymore. It is Lele's own decision. Then, as her second brother, I naturally won't interfere anymore. Brother Huang, you really don't blame me. Yang Ming didn't believe that Huang Rongjin actually let him go so easily. Why should I blame you? Huang Rongjin smiled and said, it is Lele's own choice. I can only support it. In fact, it was not that Huang Rongjin was open-minded. The key problem was that he had always been obedient to his little sister. Now, this matter really couldn't be blamed on Yang Ming. Yang Ming had already said that he had a girlfriend, but his little sister forced him to act sex. How could this mess be blamed on Yang Ming? Brother Huang, thank you for your support. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief and said sincerely. Okay, you don't have to call me Brother Huang in the future. Just like Lele, call me second brother. I have an elder brother above me. Huang Rongjin corrected, now the relationship between the two of us has to be re-evaluated. Second brother. Yang Ming's second brother was from the bottom of his heart. Huang Rongjin was older than him, and he was Huang Lele's second brother, so no matter what, Yang Ming would not suffer a loss. It seems that I have wasted my effort this time. I still want to use the opportunity of the party to find a young and handsome boyfriend for Lele. Huang Rongjin smiled and said, but to be honest, if you didn't already have a girlfriend, I would like you to be with Lele. But what can I do if I don't want to now? My little sister has already cooked the rice with you. It is too late to regret. Yang Ming looked at Huang Rongjin speechlessly. Why is this statement so awkward? Right, second brother, let me introduce you to my two friends. Yang Ming suddenly remembered that Zhang Bin and Wang Mei were still waiting for him over there. Okay, let's go. If they are your friends, then they are my friends. Huang Rongjin said, I won't thank you for the Songjiang matter. If there is anything in Macau, just tell me. Hee, I haven't encountered any trouble for the time being. Yang Ming smiled and walked with Huang Rongjin to Zhang Bin. That is Lele's second brother. Over there, Wang Mei was pointing to Huang Rongjin and whispering to Zhang Bin. Hey! How does the boss know him? Zhang Bin looked strangely at Yang Ming, who was talking and laughing with Huang Rongjin. How do I know? He is your boss. Wang Mei was also very puzzled. It was reasonable to say that these two people should not know each other. But it seemed that they were very familiar with each other. She originally thought that Yang Ming would not be able to get past Huang Rongjin, but now it seemed that it was not a problem. As the two people were talking, they saw Huang Rongjin and Yang Ming coming over together. Second brother, let me introduce them to you. This is my good buddy, Zhang Bin. That is his girlfriend, Wang Mei. Yang Ming pointed to Zhang Bin and Wang Mei. Wang Mei. Huang Rongjin was more than a little surprised today. Why do I feel that things are all messed up? Yang Ming became the boyfriend of his younger sister, Wang Lele, and Lele's good friend, Wang Mei, actually became the girlfriend of Yang Ming's friend. What the hell is going on? Isn't Wang Mei and Lu Jihao a couple? Huang Rongjin was still very familiar with Wang Mei. He often asked Wang Mei to be a spy around his younger sister, so he had met Wang Mei's boyfriend several times. Second brother. Wang Mei stood up with some embarrassment and greeted Huang Rongjin. It's really you, Wang Mei. Why are you? Huang Rongjin thought that he had an illusion. Now that he heard Wang Mei greet her, he confirmed that the person in front of him was indeed his younger sister's good friend, Wang Mei. I broke up with Lu Jihao. Wang Mei said softly. Oh. Huang Rongjin nodded suddenly, but he didn't ask much. After all, it was not appropriate to ask this at this time. Wang Mei's current boyfriend, Zhang Bin, was also present. Wouldn't it be more awkward to talk about this topic? Hello, Huang Rongjin. Huang Rongjin reached out to Zhang Bin. Hello, brother Huang. I am Yang Ming's good friend, Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin also reached out and shook hands with Huang Rongjin. Everyone will be friends in the future. If there is anything, we can help each other. Huang Rongjin patted Zhang Bin's shoulder enthusiastically. Here, don't be polite. If there is anything you need, call me at any time. Zhang Bin said, you're too polite. Wang Mei was more familiar with Huang Rongjin, so the two people didn't exchange many pleasantries. Brother Huang, if you have something to do, just do it. I have no problem here. Seeing that more and more guests were coming, Yang Ming couldn't continue to talk to Huang Rongjin. After all, there were many aspects of the banquet that needed Huang Rongjin to take care of. Huang Rongjin did have to go and take care of things, so he nodded to Yang Ming and walked to the many guests. In fact, many rich children were not very arrogant and condescending. Only a small number of people who were extremely arrogant would do something very flamboyant. For example, Huang Rongjin, whether it was his conduct or his character, was excellent, and he didn't have any bad habits. Now it seemed that most of the people who came to this party were like this. They dressed generously, and many people were already accompanied by female companions. They didn't come here to pursue Huang Lele. They just wanted to use this party to communicate with their friends. Chapter 881. Birds of a feather flock together. These two guys met together, and they seemed to be very congenial. They were talking about their experiences as little stars. Of course, although it was far away, the content of the conversation between the two fell into Yang Ming's eyes without missing a word. "Bro, how do you and Huang Lele's second brother know each other?" After Huang Rongjin left, Zhang Bin couldn't wait to ask. He was very curious. How could Yang Ming have a relationship with Huang Lele's second brother? It's a coincidence. On Valentine's Day a few days ago, Chen Mengyan and I went to the gambling ship on the high seas. We met second brother Huang, who was traveling there. At that time, we were with Tian Donghua. Your arm was not recovered, so I didn't call you on Valentine's Day. Yang Ming smiled and said, at that time, Tian Donghua and second brother Huang gambled. The result was that they naturally lost several rounds, this is for sure. Second brother Huang's family runs a casino. How can he lose to Tian Donghua? Zhang Bin nodded in agreement. So, I went up and gambled a few rounds with second brother Huang. As a result. Before Yang Ming finished, he was interrupted by Zhang Bin. The result must be that you won, bro. There is no need to think about it. Zhang Bin laughed. Okay, you don't have to flatter me. I still know what I am like. Yang Ming waved his hand and continued, so we got to know each other. The two people talked quite happily. Later, a friend of second brother Huang named Ji Xiaohe encountered some trouble. I came forward to help solve it, so our relationship was closer. A few days ago, I met second brother Huang in a coffee shop near the hotel. He said that this weekend, which is today, he was going to hold a family gathering. He invited me to attend, but I had to refuse because I promised Huang Lele. But I didn't expect that in the end, I still came. He is actually Huang Lele's second brother. After that, Yang Ming took out the invitation from his coat pocket and handed it to Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin opened it and saw that it was an invitation to Yang Ming to attend a family gathering today. The signature was Huang Rongjin. No way, it is such a coincidence. Zhang Bin couldn't help but exclaim. I also think it is a coincidence. I didn't expect it. Yang Ming took back the invitation and put it in his pocket, but this invitation were no longer useful. However, since second brother Huang saw you and Chen Mengyan, why would he agree to your relationship with Huang Lele? Xiang. Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. There were some things that were naturally no problem to say to Huang Rongjin, but it was not appropriate to say too much to Zhang Bing and Wang Mei. He couldn't say that it was because Huang Lele pushed him down, right? The impact on Huang Lele was not very good. Therefore, Yang Ming thought about it for a long time and figured out the wording. Then, he said, this. Second brother Huang is not a conservative person. He has several wives himself. So if you want to discipline others, you have to discipline yourself first. We are all in the same boat, so he can't ask others to do the same, oh. Zhang Bin nodded. He had a look of understanding. That's also true. It seems that he has nothing to say now. Wang Mei was a bit baffled. Huang Rongjin usually didn't look like such a person, but it was just a thought. Wang Mei couldn't ask, right? Ask if you have several wives. That is simply a psychopath. Therefore, the unlucky second brother Huang didn't know that Yang Ming had put a bucket of shit on his head. He just sneezed. Huang Rongjin wondered, what is going on? Is someone talking about me behind my back? Brother Huang, what's wrong with you? Did you catch a cold? I have cold medicine here. A woman dressed coquettishly saw Huang Rongjin sneeze and immediately went up to him with concern. Huang Rongjin immediately frowned. This woman was a widow. She would usually flirt with this group of young masters. But don't look at this woman's character. Her dead husband left her a company. Many of the people present had business dealings with her family's company, so naturally, they couldn't lose face and scold her. They could only brace themselves to deal with it. Sister Hong, don't joke around. I am 2 years younger than you. You are too dishonest. How can you say that? I am so sad. Am I very old? Sister Hong rubbed her chest on Huang Rongjin's body. Huang Rongjin felt a chill, but he had to deal with it. Sister Hong doesn't seem to be much older than Lele. You still know how to talk. How about it? After the banquet tonight, come and sit with me. Sister Hong said as she began to wink at Huang Rongjin. How could Huang Rongjin be hooked up with this kind of woman? It was said that this woman had sex with hundreds of men. Let's not talk about whether she was disgusting or not. Who knew if she had a hidden illness? Although Yang Ming saw the conversation between the two clearly, Wang Mei and Zhang Bin couldn't see it, so Yang Ming wouldn't expose it. Yang Ming was afraid that Zhang Bin and the others wouldn't believe it. Now, there was a living evidence. Damn, it really is like this. He hooked up with another one. Zhang Bin looked at Huang Rongjin enviously. Of course, the widow sister Hong still looked very tempting. But if Zhang Bin knew her reputation, would he still feel envious? Wang Mei also nodded in agreement. It seemed that Yang Ming wasn't lying. The facts were in front of them. They couldn't not believe it. It didn't take long for Huang Lele to change her clothes and come down from upstairs. Her elegant and refined appearance immediately attracted many people in the venue. Especially Li Jiaoyang and the pink-headed fat man, their eyes were fixed on her. Today is a family gathering. There is no other meaning. You also said that it's just hearsay. Huang Rongjin smiled. As for this hearsay, who said it? It can't be that you heard it from me, right? This. Li Jiaoyang really didn't hear it from Huang Rongjin himself, but the person who sent the invitation implied it at the time. Moreover, my little sister, Lele, is not ugly to the point that no one wants her, right? What's more, she already has a boyfriend. Huang Rongjin continued. Fuck. What is this? The pink-headed fat man threw the invitation in his hand and said, I thought there would be a girl to pick up. If I knew it would be like this, it would be better to sleep with that little star. Ha 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 ha. The crowd laughed again. When Huang Rongjin sent him an invitation, it was also out of courtesy. He didn't expect this guy to be so unruly. She has a boyfriend. Li Jiaoyang was even more upset. He had always coveted Huang Lele, but Huang Lele had never mentioned looking for a boyfriend. She even ignored him, so Li Jiaoyang had to give up. But now that he heard that Huang Lele actually had a boyfriend, he was suddenly very upset. It was as if something that originally belonged to him was taken away by others. He was immediately angry. Where is her boyfriend? Can he be better than me? Where is he? Do you dare to come out and compete with me? In terms of family background and appearance, I am invincible. Chapter 882. Most of the single young talents who wanted to get the beauty heard Huang Rongjin say that Huang Lele already had a boyfriend, and the rumors outside were purely false, so they let go of that thought. Although they felt some regret, it was impossible to go to the point of using force, so they all put away their thoughts and reconsidered the purpose of this party. At this party, there were many rich second generation in the business world. In the future, the business world of Macau would be their world, so it was rare to have such an opportunity. They would communicate with each other more and pave the way for their future successors. At this moment, when they saw Li Jiaoyang actually stood up and shouted so shamelessly, they felt that the quality of this person could not be described in words. While casting a contemptuous look, they also secretly remembered this person in their hearts. They planned to have a cooperative relationship with this person as little as possible in the future. "Hey, are you talking to me?" Yang Ming walked straight behind Li Jiaoyang and patted Li Jiaoyang's shoulder. "What's the matter? Say it. Who the fuck are you?" Li Jiaoyang had tried very hard to restrain himself just now. He did not use his classic "mother" in his mouth, but at this moment, he was suddenly patted from behind, and he subconsciously blurted out, "Mother. I am Huang Leilei's boyfriend. Aren't you looking for me?" Yang Ming said with a smile. "Oh, okay, I want to see who is better between you and me." When Li Jiaoyang heard that it was Huang Leilei's boyfriend, he turned around casually, but when he saw Yang Ming's appearance, he was stunned. How could he forget such a look? After seeing this, Li Jiaoyang's first reaction was to throw himself down from the stairs. So, Li Jiaoyang's body froze in an instant. He pointed at Yang Ming and stuttered, why is it you? Why isn't it me? Aren't you looking for me?" Yang Ming did not use force, but patted Li Jiaoyang's shoulder very gently. "I heard you call me, so I came. I heard that you want to compete with me. Tell me, what do you want?" I don't want to compete." Li Jiaoyang didn't dare to compete with Yang Ming. At this moment, his heart was already shocked. He cursed in his heart. "Why am I so unlucky recently? For 2 consecutive days, I met this madman when I went out." Li Jiaoyang was a coward. Would he dare to clamor like a madman? The answer was obviously no. Although they were now on the first floor, Li Jiaoyang was afraid that Yang Ming would do something to him that he would regret for the rest of his life. Besides, he didn't bring any bodyguards with him to the party today, so he was no match for this person in front of him. "If you don't want to compete, why did you call me?" Yang Ming said politely. There was no hint of intimidation in his words, but in Li Jiaoyang's ears, it was different. Li Jiaoyang already had a phobia of Yang Ming. Every time Yang Ming said a word, his heart would jump for a long time. "I'm wrong, okay, let me go." When Li Jiaoyang said this, everyone was stunned. Yang Ming didn't do anything to Li Jiaoyang at all. Li Jiaoyang asked him to come out, and he came out. He even talked to you with a pleasant face. Why are you begging him to let you go in a blink of an eye? Could it be that this Li Jiaoyang was originally a coward? He usually only knew how to talk. He could clamor, but when he saw that Huang Leilei's friend was tall and strong, he suddenly became a coward. Why should I let you go? If you don't want to compete, then don't compete. Who can force you to compete with me? Yang Ming said very indifferently. But why did this sound so harsh in Li Jiaoyang's ears? It seemed like sarcasm. It must be like this. Li Jiaoyang thought of this and didn't dare to stay any longer. He smiled and said, "I will go now. I will go now." After that, Li Jiaoyang turned around and rushed to the door of the villa like a rabbit. Everyone was surprised and inexplicable. They didn't know what had happened. Motherfucker. I'm really fucking unlucky. Li Jiaoyang went out of the door and breathed a sigh of relief. He thought, if I knew this madman was here, I wouldn't have come. I'm not an idiot. What's the difference between this and a minefield? I might have blown myself up. Most people thought that Li Jiaoyang was a coward and was scared away by Yang Ming's tall figure. Even the pink-headed fat man thought so. He felt that Li Jiaoyang was afraid of Yang Ming, but he didn't have to be afraid. In terms of size, he wasn't bad. He was even wider than this Yang Ming in front of him. Moreover, he was born as a butcher, so he was even more powerful. He didn't believe that he would lose to him. Therefore, the pink-headed fat man stood up arrogantly and patted Yang Ming's shoulder with a very cool look. However, he was shorter than Yang Ming, so it was very difficult to pat him. I say, this brother, you look very cool, right? But it's useless to be strong. It doesn't mean anything if you scare brotherly away. Who are you? Yang Ming pushed the pink-headed fat man's hand away from his body and asked with a frown. I'm a person who can't stand it. The pink-headed fat man said in a very cool manner. But he didn't expect that after Yang Ming asked him a question, he didn't wait for him to answer at all. He turned and left. The pink-headed fat man became a self-performance and became the laughing-stock of everyone. He immediately became angry and pointed at Yang Ming and shouted, "You stop. What are you so arrogant about? What do you mean?" Yang Ming ignored him and continued to walk in the direction of Huang Lele. When the pink-headed fat man saw that Yang Ming didn't care about him at all, he felt that he had lost face. He became angry and grabbed Yang Ming's clothes from behind. Don't go. You have to make it clear today. Are you looking down on me? What's with your attitude? Yang Ming turned around and looked at the emotional pink-headed fat man. He casually removed the hand that was grabbing his clothes and said faintly, "Are you sick?" "Not sick. Of course, I'm not sick." The pink-headed fat man was stunned, and then he reacted. Yang Ming was scolding him for being sick, so he said angrily, "You are sick." If it weren't for Huang Rongjin's territory, and these were all guests invited by Huang Rongjin, Yang Ming would have already slapped him. Is there something wrong with this guy's brain? Forget it. I don't have time to care about you. You can think whatever you want. I really don't understand. With your quality, how did you enter this villa? Yang Ming shook his head helplessly. Quality? What quality? The pink-headed fat man was born in a nouveau riche family. Now that his family had money, he thought that he could be on equal footing with those rich people. He was usually afraid that others would say that his temperament, quality, and so on were lower than others. So at this moment, when he heard Yang Ming mention the scar in his heart, he immediately exploded. He pointed at Yang Ming and said, I want to duel with you." Yang Ming really didn't know what to do with this idiot. He didn't expect that a simple sentence would cause such a big reaction from this guy. "Consider it as my fault. Is that okay?" Yang Ming didn't want to argue with him, so he apologized to him perfunctorily, hoping that this guy would stop. "No. What do you mean by consider it as my fault? I want to duel with you. Do you dare?" The pink-headed fat man was unforgiving. "If you lose, give brotherly a chance to compete fairly and let him pursue Huang Lele. Right, there is also me, brotherly. Could it be Li Jiaoyang?" Yang Ming couldn't help but be amused. He didn't notice that this pink-headed fat man was quite loyal. In this case, he still knew to help Li Jiaoyang. Now it seemed that although this person was a bit silly, he didn't have a bad heart. He was much better than Li Jiaoyang, so Yang Ming didn't want to argue with him too much. "Let's not duel. There are so many people in this villa. It's not good to meet anyone." "No, then let's not duel. We have to compete in something, right?" said the pink-headed fat man. "What are we competing in? You say it." Yang Ming was really helpless because of this guy. Let's compete in killing cows." The pink-headed fat man thought about his strengths for a long time, but he couldn't think of anything particularly powerful. Since he didn't fight, then he was only good at killing cows. The words of the pink-headed fat man suddenly attracted a burst of laughter from the people present, but before Yang Ming could answer, the villa door was pushed open. 2 security guards ran in first and said loudly, "Mr. Huang, Mr. Zhang Kentao broke in with people. As soon as the security guard's voice fell, a young man pushed him away and scolded, "Get out of the way. Don't block the way." Zhang Kentao's family and Huang Rongjin's family were actually family friends, and Zhang Kentao's experience was somewhat similar to Huang Rongjin's. There was an elder brother in the family who held on to the power of the company. Zhang Kentao became a veritable prodigal son. It stood to reason that the two people's experiences were similar. They should empathize with each other and become better friends. However, Zhang Kentao was not as open-minded as Huang Rongjin. His enthusiasm for power was far greater than Huang Rongjin's. Because the two people's personalities were not compatible, the two people would not become good friends. But even if they were not friends, the two people should not be enemies, right? But the situation was not like this. Huang Rongjin loved to collect. He was famous in Macau's collection world, combining the titles of collector and connoisseur. Zhang Kentao was also very fond of collecting, but his name was ranked behind Huang Rongjin. No matter what, Zhang Kentao was unwilling to be a person who was inferior to others. Because of the difference in age, he couldn't take charge of the company, which made him feel very vexed. Now, he couldn't win against Huang Rongjin in the collection world, which naturally made him feel even more uncomfortable. It was also because the security guards knew the relationship between Zhang Kentao's family and Huang Rongjin's family, so if Zhang Kentao wanted to break in, they didn't dare to stop him. Everything could only be decided by Huang Rongjin. Chapter 883. Younger brother Huang, why are you looking down on me as your brother? Why didn't you inform me about the banquet? Zhang Kentao walked into the hall of the villa with two followers behind him. One of the followers was carrying a large package in his hand. Huang Rongjin's face changed slightly, and he squeezed out a smile. Brother Kentao, what are you talking about? I thought that you are usually very busy. This is just an informal family banquet, so I didn't send you an invitation. However, with the relationship between our two families, there is no need for an invitation. Can't you just come directly? Although Huang Rongjin's words were polite, they were neither soft nor hard. There were thorns in his words. How could Zhang Kentao not hear it? However, the two people were accustomed to arguing. Moreover, it was Zhang Kentao who spoke first with thorns in his words, so at this moment, he said indifferently, "That's true. We don't care about those superficial things. When I heard that younger brother Huang is holding a banquet here, I hurried over to cheer you up." Really? Huang Rongjin looked at Zhang Kentao. Since he came, he couldn't drive him out. At least on the surface, the two people were still acceptable. Then, please take a seat. The banquet is about to begin. Before the banquet starts, I have a rare treasure that I want to ask younger brother Huang to help me appreciate it. As Zhang Kentao said, he waved his hand and let the follower behind him pass the thing in his hand. Oh, then I have to appreciate it. Huang Rongjin said with a fake smile. Both of them mingled in the collector world, and they had some reputation. However, Huang Rongjin's reputation was slightly bigger, so Zhang Kentao often took some tricky and strange things to let him guess what they were. It was to embarrass him, but it was glorified as appreciation. For example, last time, Zhang Kentao got a bronze cup from the Song dynasty and let Huang Rongjin guess which year it was made. Fortunately, Huang Rongjin had a master around him at that time. He guessed correctly, so Zhang Kentao left resentfully. This time, Yang Ming didn't know what tricks Zhang Kentao wanted to play, but one thing was certain. This guy was definitely up to no good. In front of so many people, he must be thinking of ways to make Yang Ming look bad again. Of course, although he knew it would be like this in his heart, he did a good job on the surface. Huang Rongjin pretended to be surprised and walked quickly to Zhang Kentao. Most of the people present knew the grievances between Huang Rongjin and Zhang Kentao, but people always had the mentality of watching the fun. Even though they knew that the two people didn't get along, they were very curious to see what high-end things Zhang Kentao's this time. This time, I bought a vase from the Ming dynasty. I want younger brother Huang to help me identify the authenticity. With that said, Zhang Kentao opened the package in his hand, then took out a box from it. He opened the box and carefully took out the things inside. This was a celadone vase with exquisite workmanship and exquisite design. The people present more or less had a certain understanding of antiques. When they saw such a beautiful vase, they couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. Zhang Kentao proudly put the vase on the table in the center of the villa and then said to Huang Rongjin, "Younger brother Huang, it is said that you are very accomplished in the study of porcelain from the Ming dynasty. Today, I will ask you, an expert, to help me identify the authenticity of the vase." Huang Rongjin glanced at Zhang Kentao coldly. The identification of the authenticity of this antique was a great knowledge. Although Huang Rongjin had put a lot of effort in this area, antiques were antiques after all. Unlike other things, it still took a lot of effort to identify the authenticity. Not to mention, in such a short period of time, even an expert would need to use some high-tech tools to identify it. However, even if this was the case, if Huang Rongjin didn't say anything today, Zhang Kentao must have prepared a lot of sarcastic words. There was no doubt about it. "How is it, younger brother Huang? This vase is good, right?" Zhang Kentao saw Huang Rongjin's appreciative gaze and said proudly. "And, it's really good." Huang Rongjin nodded and appraised the vase. No matter from which angle, whether it was the pattern on the top or the rust spots, it could prove that this was a vase from the Ming dynasty. But the more it was like this, the more uneasy Huang Rongjin's heart was. Zhang Kentao took such a vase to me to appraise. He must have a trick up his sleeve, but what does he want to do? Huang Rongjin couldn't guess, so he didn't dare to speak. He just looked at the vase carefully and looked at some details on the vase that were easy to ignore. The contradiction between Yang Ming and the pink-headed fat man was interrupted by Zhang Kentao as soon as he came in. The pink-headed fat man knew that he couldn't make trouble for a while, so he had to give up and look at the vase on the table with everyone. The pink-headed fat man couldn't see anything. He just thought that it was just a vase, but Yang Ming noticed something from the tit-for-tat dialogue between Huang Rongjin and Zhang Kentao. "Lele, who is that Zhang Kentao?" Yang Ming walked to Huang Lele and asked in a low voice. "He's a friend of my second brother, but he always likes to mock my second brother. It should be the same this time. If my second brother can't tell whether this vase is real or fake, he might say something unpleasant again." Huang Lele hated this Zhang Kentao, but she also understood the relationship between the two families. Her second brother couldn't do anything to him. Huang Lele naturally couldn't do anything. Yang Ming nodded after listening. He probably understood the relationship between the two people. It seemed that this Zhang Kentao came with ill intentions. Without understanding Zhang Kentao's purpose, Huang Rongjin naturally wouldn't speak easily, but Zhang Kentao was a little impatient. "How is it, younger brother Huang? You are an expert in this area. Is this vase real or fake?" No matter how he looked at it, this vase was very much like a real one. But it was precisely because it was too real that Huang Rongjin didn't dare to make a conclusion easily. Because the current technology was so developed, the technology of counterfeiting was very powerful. It was not rare to be able to make something that looked like a real thing. Zhang Kentao took such a real vase to test her. How could he be so kind? If this vase was really a counterfeit, then after he said that this vase was real, Zhang Kentao would definitely take the opportunity to make fun of him. But such a simple and easy to understand truth, would Zhang Kentao not understand? If he took something that was not very easy to identify and had a poor quality ambiguous thing for him to identify, then it would be really difficult for him to judge. But with such a real thing for him to judge, how could he not be suspicious? However, from another perspective, if this was just a strategy of sowing discord, Zhang Kentao deliberately took a real vase to confuse him and make him mistakenly think that it was a fake. This was not impossible. In this way, Huang Rongjin really couldn't back down. As if he knew Huang Rongjin's thoughts, Zhang Kentao shook his head and stood by calmly. I say, expert, aren't you a bit too slow? Even if you can't look at it carefully, at least give a preliminary opinion, right? Huang Rongjin was a little annoyed. He thought, if I say a preliminary opinion, you will definitely come to bombard me, right? But he couldn't not say it. So many people were looking at him. Huang Rongjin really had to say a result today. Well, even if he said that this vase was fake, if Zhang Kentao insisted that this vase was real, then he couldn't do anything. It was better to say that it was real. He could still gamble. At least if the vase was fake, he had to say why it was fake, right? There must be a flaw, right? At least Huang Rongjin didn't see any flaws. So, Huang Rongjin nodded, took a deep breath and said, after my preliminary judgment, it seems that this vase is real. Before Huang Rongjin's words were finished, he was interrupted by Yang Ming. Yang Ming patted Huang Rongjin's shoulder and said, it seems that this vase is really made. But it is still fake. Is this what Brother Huang meant? After hearing Yang Ming's words, Huang Rongjin was obviously stunned. Although he didn't understand why Yang Ming said that the vase was fake, Huang Rongjin knew that Yang Ming himself was outstanding. He must have his reason for saying so. Instead of guessing on his own, it was better to listen to Yang Ming this time and gamble. Anyway, he was not sure about it. At most, he would be ridiculed by Zhang Kentao. It was not a big deal. Is it real or fake? Zhang Kentao looked at Yang Ming with some dissatisfaction. He thought, who is this guy? Why is he interrupting? What Yang Ming said is what I mean. Huang Rongjin nodded affirmatively. Zhang Kentao's face changed in an instant, but it immediately returned to normal. If one didn't look carefully, it couldn't be seen at all. But it could hide from other people's eyes, but it couldn't hide from Yang Ming's eyes. Humph. Zhang Kentao restored his previous smug expression. Brother Huang, I am afraid that you guessed wrong this time, right? How can this vase be fake? I bought it at an auction in the United Kingdom for £3 million. Huang Rongjin was stunned and didn't know how to answer, but out of his trust in Yang Ming, he still looked at Yang Ming. Sure enough, Yang Ming disappointed him. Really? Yang Ming looked at Zhang Kentao with a smile. Are you sure that this vase is real? Of course, I am sure. The vase is mine, and I have found an expert to authenticate it. It must be real. Zhang Kentao nodded with certainty. But in his heart, he was very upset with the person in front of him. What does it have to do with him? Then, what if I insist that it is fake? Yang Ming looked at the vase and looked at Zhang Kentao. Chapter 884. Who the hell are you? Zhang Kentao was more and more upset with Yang Ming. Do you think it is fake just because you say it is fake? Well, then you tell me. Why is this vase fake? Since you say it is fake, then show me the evidence. In fact, this vase was indeed fake, but it was too realistic. Zhang Kentao took this fake vase to a very authoritative institution to identify it, and the answers he got were ambiguous. Moreover, this vase was not bought at an auction in the United Kingdom, but it cost £3 million. It was just that the money was used to hire a professional counterfeiter. Before coming, Zhang Kentao carefully analyzed Huang Rongjin's mentality. The final conclusion was that the possibility of Huang Rongjin saying that this vase was real was higher. Although this vase was very similar to a real one, it was still fake after all. Zhang Kentao naturally had a way to distinguish it. At that time, Huang Rongjin's face would be ruined. Using £3 million to make a fake vase just to embarrass Huang Rongjin, the price was indeed a bit high. However, in the eyes of Zhang Kentao, a rich young master, this money was nothing. Compared to making Huang Rongjin lower his head, this money was still worth it. However, even if Huang Rongjin said that this vase was fake, he would not admit it. He would say that the vase was real and let Huang Rongjin show evidence that the vase was fake. However, in that case, it was obviously different to let others show evidence than to directly show evidence. It was much stronger to show evidence than to let others show evidence. However, if this situation really happened, then there was no other way. He would insist that the vase was real. If Huang Rongjin said that it was fake, he had to show evidence, right? Zhang Kentao did not believe that Huang Rongjin could find any strong evidence. But even so, he couldn't say that this vase was real evidence. Then, he would not achieve the purpose of humiliating Huang Rongjin. So when Huang Rongjin said that this vase was real, Zhang Kentao was very excited, but he did not expect Yang Ming to interfere and destroy the previous advantage. What if I take out evidence? Yang Ming asked calmly with a smile. What if you can't produce evidence? Zhang Kentao asked. If I can't produce evidence, I'll eat this vase. Yang Ming pointed at the vase. Ha! Sure. Zhang Kentao was unhappy with Yang Ming. Since Yang Ming was looking for trouble, then he couldn't blame Zhang Kentao. So, Zhang Kentao said, if you take out the evidence, I will eat this vase. Yang Ming nodded and didn't say anything. Instead, he suddenly reached out and knocked over the vase on the table. Paw! The vase was suddenly smashed into pieces, breaking into pieces. What are you doing? Zhang Kentao was shocked, and then angrily stared at Yang Ming. Why did you break my vase? Aren't you being too arrogant? Now, he really lifted a rock and smashed it on his own feet. Originally, the biggest secret of this vase was that Zhang Kentao intended to use it to deal with Huang Rongjin. If he said that the vase was real, then he would smash the vase on the spot and show the handwriting inside to Huang Rongjin. But now, he didn't use it, but it was used by others to deal with him. Huang Rongjin didn't expect the final result to be like this. He couldn't help but like and admire Yang Ming. It seemed that his brother-in-law was indeed a strong person. Now, Huang Rongjin's face had been earned enough, and Zhang Kentao was already very embarrassed. Huang Rongjin didn't want to push too much. After all, the relationship between the two families was there. This was also related to Huang Rongjin's character. He was more generous. If it were replaced by Zhang Kentao, he would never let Huang Rongjin go so easily. Well, eat the vase. I think we should forget about it. Huang Rongjin laughed and mediated. But, Brother Kentao, next time you buy something, you have to open your eyes. Don't be cheated again. Zhang Kentao lowered his head and couldn't speak. He had nothing to say. At this point, it would be shameful to say another word. However, I think this vase is quite exquisite. It is not a loss to spend 3 million yuan. Huang Rongjin smiled. Since the vase is broken, then I will pay for the vase. No need. This money doesn't matter. Zhang Kentao shook his head and said with some frustration, Today, I have learned a lot. I will leave now. After saying that, he quickly left the villa with his 2 followers who were still in a daze. After they all left, Huang Rongjin ordered the people to clean up the fragments of the vase, and then patted Yang Ming's shoulder. I didn't expect it. I just thought you were a gambling master. Why? Are you also very accomplished in appreciating antiques? I can't say that. My godfather is Lu Weishan. When I was with him, I learned some knowledge from what I heard and saw. Yang Ming had to push his godfather out. Otherwise, it was really hard to explain. Ah. Your godfather is actually Lu Weishan. Huang Rongjin was surprised and said, I also bought a piece of jade carved by him. Hee, is it the Hong Kong auction? Yang Ming smiled. I also went that time. What a coincidence. Huang Rongjin nodded with emotion, and then asked curiously, then how are you sure that there is forged information in this porcelain? Actually, I don't know. Yang Ming naturally couldn't say that he saw it directly with his special ability, but he had just thought of an excuse, so he said, I just like to observe people's expressions. When you just said that this vase was real, I found that Zhang Kantao's eyes suddenly lit up, so I felt that there must be a problem with this vase, so I interrupted your words and said that the vase was fake. Sure enough, the moment I said that the vase was fake, I saw Zhang Kantao's expression become very ugly for a moment. Although he quickly returned to normal, I still realized that I may have said what was in his heart. As for how I knew that the secret of this vase was inside, it could only be said that it was a gamble. Because I once heard from my godfather that there was a person called the Hidden Swordsman who was very proficient in making fake antiques. However, when he made fake antiques, he would write his name inside the antique to show the difference between it and the real thing. So at that time, I suddenly thought of this point, so I broke the vase. But even if my guess is wrong, then it's nothing. It's just more than 3 million pounds. I can still afford to pay for this. Everyone had an expression of understanding, but they admired Yang Ming's decisiveness. He dared to take the risk of breaking the vase to verify his idea. In Huang Rongjin's heart, he favored Yang Ming even more. He also supported the matter between him and his little sister, Huang Lele. Such a talent was really rare. Well, everyone, let's disperse. I have prepared a sumptuous dinner for everyone. Let's start the party. Everyone, please. Huang Rongjin announced to everyone after the servant cleaned up the fragments of the vase on the ground. Chapter 885. When everyone dispersed, Yang Ming looked back and found that the pink-headed fat man was still standing beside him, so he smiled and said, Why? Do you still want to compete? No, no more. The pink-headed fat man said firmly, I give up. You are very powerful. You are good at both civil and martial arts. You are indeed worthy of Huang Lele. Yang Ming couldn't help but smile when he heard the words of the pink-headed fat man. Your nature is not bad. Don't mix with Li Jiaoyang in the future. The pink-headed fat man shook his head and said, Brother Li is a very good person. Everyone looks down on me. He is the only one who hangs out with me. Yang Ming sighed. Everyone has their own aspirations. Just let him be. After all, it was the day to return to Songjiang. The things in Macau were done. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, Wang Mei, and Huang Lele boarded the plane to Donghai. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Wang Mei were passengers. Wang Mei had quit her job at the airline here, so her identity had also become a passenger. But Huang Lele still had the identity of a flight attendant. Huang Lele couldn't give up her job and stay with Yang Ming in Songjiang because her second brother was still in Macau. There was also the family business. Huang Lele couldn't ignore these. Fortunately, her flight was flying back and forth from Donghai and Macau. As long as she wanted to, she could still see Yang Ming often. Separation was inevitable. When Huang Lele really saw Yang Ming boarding the plane with his luggage, her heart suddenly became empty. Unknowingly, the feelings of the two people had become difficult to part with. Hey, Yang Ming, every time I fly to Donghai in the future, will you come to see me? Huang Lele kicked Yang Ming's calf with the tip of her foot and asked softly while helping him put down the luggage. As long as I have time, I will definitely go. Yang Ming was also reluctant to part with Huang Lele, so he nodded solemnly. Then I'll remember it. Let me tell you, I haven't adapted yet. When I did it with you, it still hurts a little. If you don't see me, I'll find someone else to adapt to it. Huang Lele threatened. You dare. Although Yang Ming knew that she was joking, he still glared at Huang Lele. Hee, Huang Lele giggled twice and helped Yang Ming and the others put away Yang Ming's luggage. There were other passengers who needed help. Huang Lele naturally couldn't always stand by Yang Ming's side, so she gave Yang Ming a smile and went to help others. To be honest, are you willing to be separated from Lele? After sitting down, Wang Mei began to gossip. So what if I can't bear to? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Everyone has their own way of life. Huang Lele has a family business in Macau to take care of. It's impossible to stay in Songjiang and not go back, right? Just like your parents, if they want to stay in Macau, you can't do anything about it. That's true. Wang Mei nodded and said with some emotion, I really didn't expect that in just a few days, my life and Lele's life have undergone huge changes. Have you thought about it? What are you going to do after returning to Songjiang? Yang Ming asked Wang Mei. You definitely can't go to Zhang Bin's jewelry company. You probably can't hide your matter from Zhao Sisi. That girl is very smart, but it's not very good for you to meet. Zhang Bin listened to Yang Ming's words and laughed twice. I have already talked to Wang Mei. After returning, I will give her a computer so that she can learn how to trade stocks and foreign exchange. Then, it's not bad to do some financial investments. Yang Ming nodded and said, this is also good. It seems that Chen Mengyan also said when she was in high school that she was very interested in stocks. Let them learn together. Who is Chen Mengyan? Wang Mei naturally didn't know who Chen Mengyan was. Boss's first wife, first girlfriend, our high school classmate, and the campus belle of our school. Zhang Bin explained. Ah. Wang Mei was delighted when she heard it. Yang Ming let his girlfriend accompany her to trade stocks. Obviously, he supported her. With Yang Ming's support, Wang Mei was not afraid of losing money. Anyway, she would ask Chen Mengyan for advice in the future. Even if she really lost money, Yang Ming would not blame her. When Huang Lele had nothing to do, she would come to the first class to accompany Yang Ming and others. The people on this flight were Wang Mei's colleagues. Now that Wang Mei had resigned, Huang Lele, her best friend, would accompany her. No one would have any opinion. In the end, the plane landed at Donghai International Airport. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Wang Mei carried their luggage and said their final goodbye to Huang Lele. Lele, we will come to see you often. Wang Mei's mood was also a little excited. After all, this was her best friend. Damn, Huang Lele rarely comes back. Boss still has to be intimate with her. Why are you going to be the third wheel? Zhang Bing's words immediately lightened the atmosphere. The four of them laughed out loud. Come and find me. Huang Lele quickly kissed Yang Ming's face and then ran back to the plane. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, and Wang Mei got off the plane and walked to the airport corridor. Brother Yang. Walking out of the airport, they saw Bao Sanli's sunny smile. I finally returned to my own territory. The moment Yang Ming set foot on the land of Donghai, he suddenly had a warm feeling. This was the first time that Bao Sanli called Yang Ming brother Yang in front of Zhang Bin, but Zhang Bin didn't know who Bao Sanli was, so he didn't find it strange. He thought that Bao Sanli was a friend of Yang Ming. The car carried the 4 people and drove quickly to Songjiang City. It was the first time that Wang Mei came to Songjiang. Although the plane landed in Donghai, she had taken advantage of her free time to go to the nearby shopping mall. However, it was the first time that she really walked so far. Baozi, let me introduce you. This is my good buddy, Zhang Bin, my high school classmate. Our relationship is very close. Yang Ming pointed to Zhang Bin and said to Bao Sanli. Hello, my name is Bao Sanli. Just call me Baozi. Bao Sanli turned his head and nodded to Zhang Bin in a friendly manner. In the future, if there is anything in Songjiang, just tell me. Ha, look at my mouth. You are Brother Yang's close buddy. You don't need me to do anything. Zhang Bin nodded with some doubts. Although he knew that his boss seemed to be very powerful, he didn't know the identity of Bao Sanli at this time. However, Zhang Bin had been with Yang Ming for a long time, so he didn't think much about it. However, Wang Mei on the side immediately noticed that the identity of the driver who drove Yang Ming in front was not ordinary. Listening to his tone, it seemed that he could settle a lot of things in Songjiang. Then, isn't Yang Ming even more powerful? So she asked Zhang Bin curiously in a whisper, Zhang Bin, what does your boss do? Is he really an underworld boss? My boss. Zhang Bin had received too many surprises from Yang Ming in the past few days. When he was asked by Wang Mei, he didn't know how to answer. If it was before, Zhang Bin would say, Boss and I are close buddies in high school. Who doesn't know each other well? But now, Zhang Bin found that Yang Ming seemed to have become another person. Of course, this referred to Yang Ming's identity and ability. The only thing that didn't change was his feelings for himself. From the 2 things that Yang Ming went to save Wang Mei's parents and tried to help him clear the suspicion of murder, the boss regarded him as a good brother from the bottom of his heart. At this moment, Yang Ming's phone rang. Zhang Bin just took the opportunity to shut his mouth because he also had a lot of questions to ask Yang Ming. Hello. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Hello, Yang Ming. I'm the big sister. Have you gotten off the plane? Yang Li's voice came over the phone. Oh, it's big sister. I just got off the plane. I'm now on the way back to Songjiang from Donghai. Before Yang Ming came back, he had a phone call with Yang Li. He knew that Yang Li had an urgent matter to look for him. That's great. Yang Li said, my dad is worried to death these days. An engineering company in Phoenix City ordered my dad's construction machinery, but when we were preparing to deliver the goods, we received a threat from the construction machinery company in Phoenix City. They told us that as long as we dared to bring the machinery to Phoenix City, they would smash it on the spot. Yang Ming suddenly frowned after listening. Isn't this person a bit too arrogant? I have such a big force now, but I don't use any improper means to suppress my competitors. Where are you? Wait for me to come over in a while. We'll talk when we meet. I'm at home. My dad is also there. This is the first business that my dad is responsible for. As a result, it ended up like this. My dad was so worried that he didn't eat for a day. Yang Li said. Okay, I got it. You wait for me. Yang Ming said. Baozi, send Zhang Bin and Wang Mei back first. Then, take me to my uncle's house. Something happened to him. Hurry up. Yang Ming instructed Bao Sanli. Okay. I got it. Bao Sanli said and sped up the car. Bro, we're not in a hurry. Wang Mei doesn't have a house here yet. We will be arranged to stay in the hotel later. Why don't you do your business first? You can send us back later. Zhang Bin said. Yang Ming hesitated. That's fine. As long as you're not in a hurry. Why are we in a hurry? There's nothing to do anyway. Zhang Bin said indifferently. After entering the Songjiang city, the speed of the car slowed down. Bao Sanli was already trying very hard to overtake, but there were too many traffic lights. The speed still couldn't go up. What kind of quality is this? Bao Sanli looked at the Passat in front of him and couldn't help but curse. Yang Ming's uncle's house just happened to turn right at this intersection, and the Passat in front was going straight, but it occupied the right turn lane. Although there was some space on the side, a small car could pass by. Bao Sanli's Jinbei van was enough.